to, foreign soil and fight in enemy territory?
This has just been my general career. I think it's really a blessing to have everybody in the room, like Juliana, Belal. Like, you get a look and view and see what a champion does, right? How they conduct themselves. So I feel like we have a really good momentum heading into this. And foreign soil, again, I'm the Jorge Masvidal of my generation. That's really how I feel about it.
It seems like you've been embracing it a lot more, especially in this camp, because, on your Instagram, you're using, hashtag 51st state and everything like that. So is that something that you saw like, oh, if this is the path they want me to take, I'll just kind of lean fully into just being the enemy that has to go and fight their guy?
I am the enemy. Like, I've always been the underdog. Usually I'm always the underdog heading into fights. So for me, like, this is just where I belong. And this is naturally me. Like, I'm two different people, right? I am a person outside of the sport, but then in the sport, I am the heel naturally. That's why whenever you see that post-fight speech in Australia, people dug it because it was authentic. It was who I am.
You also said on your Instagram that this was the most stable you'd been preparing for a fight. So I guess, what did you mean exactly by that?
So it's hard when you're in a relationship with somebody that is successful and they sacrifice everything to be with you over a dream. And for me, somebody who was 3-3 as a fighter, who ended up making it to the UFC at 30 years old, right? And then eventually, just after that last fight, that's why I got emotional, because like there was a lot riding on that one too, because they're cutting people like crazy in the UFC. So to go out there and finish a guy like Seisenberg, who's a dog, right? It really put me in a perspective where I got a house, right, in Chicago. I have a great routine. So like I honestly am in the most stable position I've ever been.
So would it be safe to say that fans should expect maybe the best performance from you, being around all these champions, most stable, fighting a guy that has this big name? Can fans expect, I guess, the best Charles Radtke they've seen?
Absolutely. And for all the haters out there talking about ground games and such, I think they're in for a great surprise.
And what do you make of Mike, his skill set and just the name he brings? He was a big deal up in Canada. He had that stumble in Toronto, got back on the horse. I know I saw a video of you saying, similar styles, but you have more firepower than him. So just what do you make of his skill set as a whole?
Listen, everybody in this division is a stud anyways at 170. I think the major difference is like that. I think the firepower is the difference. I think Mike Malott being on the back foot is the issue. He said the bull versus the matador type of theory, right? I don't find myself necessarily as a bull, right? But if that's what you're going to label me as, then I'll take it. But I think that he possesses a lot of skills. I think he's got a good ground game, good striking, but inevitably I just don't think it's enough.
Charles, I feel like you're in a better mood today. I know one of the last times you've come in here, you've asked everybody how much money they have in their pockets. I think there's about 20 or so of us in this room. So what's this interview going to cost us once we're finished today?
Well, you're going to be my sponsor after this fight. You realize that, right? That's your boy. So you're going to be paying me.
What do you think about that? Because I feel like there's going to be about 20,000 Canadians that are going to be booing you this weekend.
I think I'm going to be real nervous. I think I'm going to be real scared coming in there. I think that's what it might be, right? Is that what you expect? That's what you hope, right?
I'd hope so.
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen.
And then as far as the rivalry goes, right, Canada-US,
yeah,
I don't think there's a better one on this card than you and Mike Malott. So there was a pretty big hockey game earlier this year, and the Canadians came out on top. So how are we feeling about that?
So I don't give a shit about hockey, right? That's not my gig. But what I do hold dear is I grew up on a bison ranch with my grandfather, who's a sergeant major in the Marine Corps. And when you all boo the national anthem, somebody's going to have to pay for that. And somebody had said, oh, well, you booed him the week after. Does it make it right? So inevitably, I take that to heart, because every year I'll change 50 flags going up our driveway. So, yeah, you're going to see the results of it.
And realistically, do you think they're making a mistake by not having you guys at the press conference tomorrow?
Listen, I think that if you guys are looking for more of a selling point, I think absolutely. I think when you look at the presser right now, there's a lot of respect there. There's not enough scumbags. You need a little scumbag in there, right? A little bit of Chuck Buffalo wouldn't hurt anybody. So Me personally, I think a lot of people aren't going to be necessarily paying for the pay-per-view. So the spot that I'm at right now is a great spot to be in because there's going to be a lot of people viewing. So I'm honestly happy with my position.
Final message to all the Canadians coming out this weekend.
Basically, fuck you and fuck Full Send.
Charlie, right here. Just going to your right. Do you fight better when you're fired up?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, that's just like my natural state. My good training partner over there, Gerald Mershart, knows what's up. I mean, I'm pretty fiery in the gym. I talk a lot of shit. That's just that's just who I am as a person. I have a chip on my shoulder. I've had a chip on my shoulder since I started this. And it's going to be no different coming Saturday.
And then one last quick one. Your only loss in the UFC came to Carlos Prats, I believe, and obviously that's aged pretty well given where he's gone. But what did you think of his performance the other week?
I think personally, I think it was good. I think that he almost finished the fight on Ian Gary. But honestly, give it to Ian Gary for showing up for 3 weeks and putting on the performance he did. And I think it was just a cardio issue on his behalf. If you would have gave him more time to be ready for that fight, I don't think it would have even been close at all. The 3 rounds at the beginning had showed it.
Thanks.
Yep.
Right here. When you're looking at Mike's game, where is it that you feel that you'll be able to better him, or is it more looking at his overall game and thinking you can beat him in every area, Charles?
I think it's the mind. Right? You know, I actually fought one of Mike Malott's is Chris Gonzalez and Bellator. The one thing that the one thing that Mike's gonna know is I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep putting pressure down. The Neil Magny fight, I will say that he was winning majority of that fight. But I think one thing that will always impact you and always will stay in your mind is when you're staring at the lights in Canada and you see that is impacting you, quit on yourself. That's just a dialogue. When you quit like that and you stare up at the ceiling, that haunts you for life. And also remember this. What was Mike's last fight and how did it go? Question for you.
Well, he won. He won
question.
in Edmonton, yeah.
Yeah, but how did it go? What did it look like to you?
Well, he looked a little bit gun shy, looked a little bit hesitant after coming off the loss.
Was that guy a heavy hitter?
No.
What did my fight look like after a loss with Protas?
Well, it looked pretty good. You got him out there quick.
Just think about that. And think about that. I've done a 180 since this camp too.
Taking all that in mind, you know, looking at when you get to a certain level of mixed martial arts, there has to be something said about durability and how much like damage you can endure when you're in there in a fight. Do you believe that your durability is better than Mike's and that's what you're going to prove on Saturday night?
Well, fuck, man. I mean, like I got kneed in the fucking liver. You know what I mean? I don't really get punched in the face that much, you know, like, but you never know what's going to happen in these competitions. I feel like that this is a huge opportunity. If this was a fight happening anywhere else, it wouldn't mean dog shit. Okay. But it's happening in Canada, right? So I have to give appreciation towards Mike for this fight because, again, this is why it's on the featured prelims. It's because of him. So I give him that respect, right? But I'm a gangster. I came to his hometown to whoop his ass, right? That's the difference.
Thank you.
So just one right. So there's this
Ooh,
rumor.
you like it, huh? One more. Come on, give it to me. Let's go.
There's this rumored Chicago pay-per-view in August. Is the goal to get Mike out of there quick and then, you know, try to get on that one?
No, everything. My life ends on Saturday. That's it. I give him all the respect. I will never look past him, right? I'll see you motherfuckers on the other side. That's how I feel about it. Bounce, dog.
Hello, hello. Go Birds. Go Birds.
Hello, guys. Ó, meu inglês tá muito
Oh,
Hello, hello.
Just go over here. Obviously, you're one of the more tenured fighters in any of the UFC women's divisions, but so fight week isn't anything new. But come up to Montreal, a place that the UFC hasn't been for quite some time, fighting a Canadian on enemy soil. I guess just how's camp and how's fight week been as a whole?
você, obviamente, é uma das lutadoras com mais tempo de casa, não só na divisão feminina, mas também no UFC, lutando aqui. Ou seja, uma semana de luta não é nada de novo para você, mas lutando em Montreal, contra uma moça da casa. Como é que é isso para você? Como é que tá essa luta em específico e essa semana?
Eu tô muito feliz, né? Realmente são 29 lutas dentro do UFC, contando com essa de agora. Eu já lutei na casa de todo mundo, já lutei em casa, então é bom. Eu gosto de ser a zebra, eu gosto de chegar e mostrar o meu trabalho. Eu sei que eu sou uma adversária muito dura e estar aqui em Montreal está sendo muito legal para mim, porque é a primeira vez que eu estou aqui no Canadá e está sendo muito legal conhecer um país diferente, um lugar diferente. Eu passo pelas ruas ali, eu olho, eu fico encantada com o formato que é as ruas aqui. Então eu estou muito feliz e eu costumo dizer que quando eu estou feliz para a semana da luta, isso aí é porque eu vou dar show na hora da luta.
Well, it's going to be, there'll been a lot of fights. With this one, it's going to be 29 fights in the UFC. So let's just say I fought a lot of people in their home, and I fought home as well. So, and also, I've shared the underdog position many times. So it's also not only because of the fight itself, but it's my first time in Canada and being here in Montreal. I'm fascinated, by the way, even like it's a new place, new country, even like the way the streets are shaped. I'm fascinated by things here. So I'm very happy. And I like to say that when I'm happy on fight week is because I'm going to put on a show on Saturday.
We see a lot of fighters, they kind of put this end goal that they want, like, I don't want to fight past this time. I'm not asking if you did that, but did you ever think you would have like 29, possibly 30 fights in the UFC when you started this?
Tem lutadores que colocam, às vezes, em entrevistas ou mesmo ao serem perguntados ou mesmo falam que tem não uma validade, um tempo de inspiração, mas um objetivo de lutar, tanto vou lutar até tal idade, vou lutar até tantas lutas, tanto tempo, X. Você pensou, não é isso que eu estou perguntando para você, mas assim, você pensou que você teria 29, possivelmente 30 lutas no UFC quando você começou isso?
Olha, quando eu comecei no UFC, eu sempre falei que eu ia ficar muitos anos aqui. E realmente, eu estou fazendo muitos anos aqui, já são, acho que em julho agora fazem 12 anos dentro do UFC, 29 lutas, mas eu já pensei em quando eu quero parar. Eu já pensei, se o UFC me der a oportunidade de fazer 40 lutas aqui dentro, eu acho que é o ponto para mim, é fazer as minhas 40 lutas e aí me aposentar. E se Deus quiser, até lá, estar com o cinturão também.
I said I was going to fight a long time in this organization. I think I've been, I've come through on the promise. I have been fighting here. I got 29 fights coming up. It's going to be in July. 12 years in the UFC too. So I have thought about this. I think that if you think of a goal, I thought about doing 40 fights in the UFC. That's what I wanted to get to. The UFC keeps coming back. I'll be doing 40 fights, and I think it'll be a good time to stop. But also, I would like to do those 40 fights, hopefully with a belt around my chest.
Obviously starts with Jasmine Jasudavicius. I'm curious, when her name came across your desk, what did you make of her skill set, and have you watched much tape on her, and what do you make of her as an opponent?
E agora esse caminho para as 40 lutas começa ou continua na Jasmine Jasudavicius. O que você pensou quando você recebeu ela como oponente? Sabia que ia lutar aqui, lutando contra ela? Como você vê ela em termos de habilidades e forças?
Para mim, a Jasmine é uma adversária dura, né? Ela tem a parte de grappling ali. Quando ela coloca a luta para baixo, ela é bem agressiva. Ela é maior do que eu, né? Mas é meio difícil não encontrar alguém que seja maior que eu aqui dentro do UFC, né? Mas eu sei da envergadura dela, então isso não que seja um perigo imediato, porque eu já lutei com meninas maiores, né? Tio Cajun tinha 1,70 m e poucos também. Então, eu sei que eu tenho que encurtar sempre a luta, manter a minha distância, mas também tomar cuidado para não tomar as quedas que ela coloca. Então, eu sei que ela é uma adversária dura, está vindo de 4 vitórias consecutivas, né? Diferente porque talvez o UFC, eu não entendi porque o UFC me colocou para lutar com ela, porque eu estou vindo de derrota, mas eu estou muito feliz de poder estar enfrentando ela. É um desafio, mais um desafio para minha carreira. E eu sei que eu estou pronta, né? Eu treinei muito a minha parte de trocação, treinei bastante defesa de queda para não deixar que ela se aproxime e me coloque para baixo, tanto na grade quanto no centro da luta. E resumindo, ela vai ter que baixar bastante o nível, né? Porque eu sou baixinha, então ela vai ter que entrar muito para me colocar para baixo. Então eu acredito que no começo da luta ela vai querer só trocar comigo e mais para o final da luta aí tentar me encurralar na grade para me colocar para baixo. Mas eu treinei bem.
She, first of all, she's great at grappling. And we know that the strength is grappling. She likes to take people down and then keep people down that way. But also, I know that she's got that range, especially because she's a taller fighter. But you know what? It's not hard to find a girl that's taller than me in this sport. So let's just say that this happens a lot. So I'm ready for the range. I'm also ready for. I understand that I'm gonna have to be. I mean, I fought taller girls. I mean, think about like Caitlin Chokade. I mean, she's really tall, and I was able to get through that. I know I have to shorten the distance, and that's something I'm going to be working on. I need to be to be mindful of that range. So I need to shorten the distance, but I also have to be mindful of all the takedowns that could happen if I get close to her. So let's just say I prepared a lot for some things that need to happen. For example, she will. When she tries to take me down, whether it's in center of the octagon or towards the fence, let's just say we trained a lot on the takedown defense. I've had to go through that training. I'm very ready and have to be very mindful when I get in close distance. I am ready for this. Believe me, I've trained a lot so that this doesn't happen. So I know that shortening the distance, getting the strikes, and I think that she's going to have to lower her center of gravity a lot to fight me. I'm expecting her to start the fight by trying to exchange with me a little bit, and at one point try to take me down. But I'm ready for when the time comes when she tries to take me down.
You know, just a couple more for me, unrelated to your fight, but you know, you've talked about your longevity in the sport, and you have quite a few of records. You know, most wins, most bouts, most fight of the night bonuses, most performance bonuses in general in UFC women's history. So I guess, do any of those records mean more to you, the ones that stand out over the rest?
Falando da tua longevidade no esporte, da tua trajetória aqui, tudo que você fez, você tem muitos recordes. É mais luta, é mais vitória, é mais bônus, performance da noite e tal. Alguma coisa, algum recorde que você tem, que você detém, é mais importante do que os seus para você? Algum deles, assim, é bem importante. Eu estou bem orgulhosa desse específico.
Eu acho que eu sempre estou muito orgulhosa de tudo que eu faço dentro do UFC, né? Às vezes eu nem imagino a grandiosidade que eu sou, né? Às vezes as pessoas têm que me lembrar de quem eu sou, porque eu sou assim, eu sou simples, eu converso com todo mundo, eu brinco com todo mundo, eu posto as coisas de todo mundo, e às vezes eu esqueço quem eu sou. Então, eu acho que tudo que eu fiz na minha carreira, que eu fiz no meu trabalho, para mim, tudo conta, desde os mínimos detalhes de uma finalização que ninguém nunca fez, que foi o katagatame em pé, até o batistaca para ganhar o meu cinturão contra a Rosina Mayunas, os recordes de mais socos dados dentro da categoria. Então, acho que, para mim, tudo importa, porque faz parte da minha história, faz parte do que eu vivi, mesmo com dificuldades. Para esse camp, nem cama eu tinha, eu dormi o camp inteirinho no chão, no colchão, no chão. Mas nada disso vai me impedir de chegar na semana da luta e tentar fazer mais um recorde, de bater mais um recorde, de tentar nocautear, de tentar finalizar de uma forma diferente que ninguém nunca fez. Então, eu acho que para mim tudo conta. Todos eles contam.
Só para confirmar, você falou que para esse camp você está dormindo no chão?
Uhum.
Tá bom. Just had to confirm today. I think that, again, with the longevity and everything I've done here, I'm very proud of everything that I've accomplished. And people need to remind me sometimes of who I am. Listen, I talk to everyone, I joke about everyone, I repost everybody's content, and I'm like, some people need to really come bring and say, hey, do you know who you are, like what you've done? So I'm a simple, very humble girl that is very grateful for everything. So I'm proud of all of the fights, all of the victories, all the records, and every time I'm able to to do something that wasn't done before, do more than it was done before, do some sort of finish that it wasn't done before. You think about this, like stuff that no one has ever done, like the standing arm triangle. No one, that was new. Also, be able to power drive rows to a championship. Look at these are things that I'm very proud and very grateful, and I continue to work towards those things. And there's always something different that I'm always going to be working for to try to bring something different to the octagon and do something no one's done before. For example, for this particular camp, that's why I needed to ask her. For this camp, I didn't even have a mattress to sleep on. I was actually sleeping on the floor for a lot of this camp. But hey, we're ready. We come back here and we strive, we work, and we try to do something that no one has done before. So I'm proud of everything. Elaborate.
Why did you not have a mattress?
Voltando à pergunta, por que você não tinha nem colchão para dormir? Você estava dormindo no chão para esse campo?
Pois é, eu voltei dos Estados Unidos para o Brasil e aí minhas coisas vieram por container e acabou que a alfândega travou as minhas coisas todas e aí para eu não ter que comprar tudo de novo, sabendo que eu já tinha tudo, eu comprei um colchão e fiquei o camp inteiro dormindo no chão na expectativa de que minhas coisas chegariam antes de eu acabar meu camp. Mas, quando eu cheguei aqui, na segunda-feira, eles entregaram as minhas coisas. Então, eu passei o camp todinho com uma mini geladeira, com um colchão no chão e uma televisãozinha no quarto e a casa inteira vazia.
Colchão tinha, pelo menos, só para
Não,
entender.
tinha
O colchão
uma
tinha.
tinha.
The mattress was there. She slept on the floor as in no bed.
So quando eu vi que não ia chegar mais nada, eu falei, vou pegar o colchãozinho.
So what happened was she, I had all my stuff in the United States. You know, I moved to Brazil, right? So I sent everything. You know, when you ship a lot of stuff, you ship through containers, so it takes a long time to go. Well, when it got there, finally, it got retained by customs. So basically, I just had all my stuff, and knowing that I had stuff, there was no point in buying like a bed. So I just basically got like a mattress, and I was sleeping on the mattress, and I had a mini fridge, I had a mattress and a TV, and actually, just news, as soon as I got here on Monday, everything got delivered.
Well, congratulations getting your stuff back. Just last one for me. You know, you're talking about how, you know, people need to remind you of who you are. I don't know if you saw, but Jillian Robertson got a finish. She's now tied with Amanda Nunes for the most finishes in UFC women's history. You're at 9 at second. So if you finish Jasmine, you'll become one of the 3 women with 10 stoppages. Jasmine's also never been finished before in her career. So I'm curious, did you know any of that? And does that change the game plan at all, knowing that you're on the cusp of a couple more records?
Primeiro, parabéns pelas suas coisas finalmente terem chegado. Falando dessas coisas, desses recordes que as pessoas precisam lembrar você de quem você é. Nesse final de semana, né, a Jillian Robertson chegou e empatou com a Amanda Nunes, maior o número de finalizações na história do UFC, e você tem 9, né? Então você empataria e se transformaria mas sabendo que que a Jasmine nunca foi finalizada e você finaliza ela, chega nesse recorde, empata com o maior finalizador da história das mulheres, isso muda um pouco o plano?
Acho que tudo faz diferença dentro do octógono, né? Eu acho que bater mais um recorde, isso aí é uma coisa incrível, acho que dentro da carreira de cada atleta, né? Quem sabe, né? Eu treinei bastante finalizações aí, treinei bastante entradas de quedas diferentes, então eu acho que eu posso colocar esse jogo também até para enganar um pouco a Jasmine, porque eu acredito que ela pensa que eu vou só trocar com ela, mas eu tenho um pouco de tudo, eu tenho várias armas. Antigamente eu ia para a guerra só com a pistola, mas hoje não, hoje eu vou com o arsenal inteiro, né? Então seria muito legal poder empatar com as meninas aí de 9 finalizações, e eu gostaria também de tentar um nocaute, né? Eu acho que dentro do UFC o que chama mais atenção é você não deixar o resultado para o juiz. Então, entre nocaute ou finalização, para mim qualquer um dos dois seriam importantes, mas uma finalização me colocaria ali junto com as meninas ali de mais finalizações dentro do UFC.
Obviously, every time you hear of something like that, or a record to be broken, you start thinking about the opportunity, especially because she's not been finished. So there are a lot of opportunities there, and I think that let's just say I've been training a lot for a finish. So if I've been training a lot of different, entrances into different points to shoot. So there's something that's I think I've been sharpening up the tool for there, because I used to come to the fight with just with a gun, and now I think I have a whole arsenal of weapons. So also I've been looking into a knockout, because I think that that's what I really like to knock her out, because I think that's what people like. I think people love a knockout once in a while. So, but you just gave me some ideas, because if you start getting close to the records, you start, getting some, maybe it would not be a bad thing to actually join a club.
Jessica right here. Jazz is on a 4-fight win streak. 3 of those have actually come against Brazilians. So is it a little added motivation to be able to come into Canada and maybe get one back for Brazil?
Você sabe que ela está vindo com 4 vitórias consecutivas e, né, que significa para você poder vir aqui para o Canadá e de repente dar uma parada nessas vitórias consecutivas dela?
É o que eu sempre falo, né? Eu gosto de ser a zebra, né? Eu gosto de chegar aqui e impactar as pessoas, né? Quando eu fiz acho que minha 6ª luta, nem era dentro do UFC, era fora do UFC. Eu fui para a Rússia lutar com a russa na casa dela, cheguei com todo mundo me vaiando e saí aplaudida. Então, eu acho que esse é o resultado que eu quero para esse final de semana. Mesmo que eu acredito que eu vou entrar sendo vaiada, porque eu estou na casa dela, mas eu tenho certeza que nós duas vamos sair aplaudidas de lá de dentro, né? Não só eu, porque eu acredito que ela vai dar o melhor dela lá dentro. E para mim é muito importante parar ela e começar a minha sequência de vitórias, né? Eu tô vindo de derrota, então eu tô com fome, eu tô com vontade de vencer, e é isso que eu quero para esse final de semana.
I've said I've always cherished the underdog position. I've actually had opportunities to go into enemy territory many times. There was one time I actually went to Russia as a major underdog. The girl was very strong. It was actually before starting in the UFC, and I got in. I got the win. I was booed, and after I got the win, I was cheered. So I believe that I will get some boos when I come in. Of course, that's a home girl. But I do believe that not only myself, but even Jasmine, we're going to be applauded towards the end, because I think she's going to give her best. But I do believe that I got more hunger, I got more will to win, and that was going to turn into a victory on Saturday.
And then you returned to flyweight, I believe your last fight, and obviously flyweight again here. Is this one of those cases where the outcome of this fight might determine which weight class you fight at next time out?
E voltando aos moscas, daí teve a última vitória também, agora a última luta, você vem como mosca também. Isso é uma daquelas situações que a luta de agora termina em qual categoria, em qual divisão que você vai acabar lutando nas próximas. Assim, essa luta é determinante para dizer, não, depois disso aqui, isso já emenda qual divisão que eu vou lutar.
Eu acredito que eu me sinto bem dentro do 57. Eu acho que uma vitória, mesmo uma vitória ou uma derrota, isso eu acho que não mudaria muito o que eu tenho em mente. Eu quero muito poder voltar a lutar nos 52 quilos. Eu só não estou fazendo essa luta agora no 52 porque me ofereceram a Virna e eu não ia lutar com a Virna, porque a gente é muito amiga e a gente já tem o nosso combinado de, se a gente tiver que lutar um dia uma contra a outra, que seja ou por uma disputa de cinturão, ou quem vencer vai para o cinturão. Então, no momento, na época, só tinha a Virna, eu falei, olha, com a Virna eu não vou lutar, e aí apareceu a Jasmine para lutar no 57. Para mim também foi muito bom, porque é uma menina que vem de 4 vitórias consecutivas, tem um cartel legal, por mais que esteja acima de mim no ranking, para mim tá super tranquilo. E assim, mas a minha intenção é voltar para os pesos palha e é tentar conquistar o meu cinturão de volta.
I really feel good at flyweight. I feel feels good on my body. That's why I like to fight at flyweight, but I really want to go back to 115. Bigger thing is they offer me Verna, and I have a bit of a deal with Verna that we're only going to fight each other. We're friends, but we're going to be fighting each other if it's for a title or for the chance to go for a title. And I said, well, no, not this time. We're not going to fight. So they gave me Jasmine. I didn't know, actually, this is something from a previous answer of hers. It was long. She did mention that she did not know why the UFC actually put us together to fight Jasmine, her coming off of 4 different wins, but maybe because, I'm a challenge and I offer a good skill set. As far as the fight, they put her to fight me with 4 straight wins. I want to go back to 115 eventually, but this is a good opportunity. But I really feel good at as my on my body is good on as a fight 125, but I would like to fight 115, but we'll only fight Verna if it's for a title.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Wow.
Okay. We just reminded ourselves what day and what time it is.
It's been a long journey to get here, Jose.
Foi a jornada longa para chegar aqui?
Não, não é nem jornada, foi o voo, né? A gente chegou quase 5 horas da tarde já, aí eu tinha que beber água e perder o peso, por isso que foi difícil, entendeu? Mas é fuso horário, o voo foi tranquilo. Porque sempre estar no Canadá é um prazer imenso.
Not even the journeys, the flight, and we kind of flew in at 5 p.m. and then we had this schedule to, as a wake up process, had some water to intake and then continue on it. It's just because of that. Also, just a little bit of the, there's a bit of time difference as well, but it's a pleasure to be in Canada.
So I guess going off of that, just how has camp been? How has fight week been? I know you've done this more than pretty much anyone on this card, but I guess just how has it been, after the 40th, 50th time you've done this over the years?
Emendando nisso, o negócio do processo, perda de peso e tudo mais, você fez isso mais do que possivelmente qualquer pessoa nesse card. Como é que tá para você, com tantas lutas no cartel, como é que, na tua vida, como é que tem sido esse processo, como foi o acampamento, e agora como é que tá sendo esse início?
Então, acho que o processo mais difícil, né, a perda de peso, não só para mim, mas eu acho que para todos os atletas. Acho que eu sempre falo, né, com os treinadores, que eu adoro treinar, eu gosto de treinar, bota para fazer sparring, o que for, eu faço com o maior prazer. Agora, a perda de peso é muito difícil. Agora, ontem, né, a gente fez o trabalho, então bati até 1 quilo abaixo já do que estava programado, né? Então, mas tão bem. Acho que é do mesmo jeito sempre. Sofrido e vamos bater o peso.
Just the weight cut, obviously, is the worst part, because I always tell people, like, I love everything in the process. I love to train, I love to spar, just sign me up, man. Everything you put people to spar with me, I'll go ahead and do it. It's a pleasure. But the weight cut is just a thing. It's just, nobody likes it. It's the worst part of it all. But I'll tell you what, after last night and what we did, we're actually already going under what was expected. So that's it, just to make that weight and go in the fight.
And what did you make of your opponent, Aiemann Zahabi? Because, he was in here earlier and he said even he was surprised that your name came across his desk. He probably thought you could have got a bigger name. He said Canadians are coming up to him and saying, we like you, but we also still love Jose Aldo, so we hope you don't hurt him too much. So I guess, what did you make of Aiemann as an opponent and the reaction from the fans to this booking?
E o que você acha do Aiemann Zahabi, que esteve aqui mais cedo e ele falou que ele até ficou surpreso, que eles acharam que não iam dar um nome maior para o Aldo para lutar. E ele está falando que os canadenses estão chegando para ele falando assim, cara, a gente gosta de você, mas a gente gosta do Aldo. Se é para ganhar dele, vê se não é para não machuca o cara, aquela coisa toda. O que você acha dele em termos de oponente? O que você acha dessa luta?
Então, acho que estar no Canadá é um prazer imenso, né? Como falei, foi a primeira vez que eu lutei, foi aqui. Acho que a minha disputa de título, onde eu venci, foi no Canadá. Foi em Toronto, não em Montreal, né? Então, fico feliz por todo o apoio de canadense, todo o carinho quando eu cheguei e recebi. Sobre o oponente, assim, vi muito pouco dele, assim, não um modo de respeito, assim. Sim, falando tecnicamente, né, dentro da que a gente tem que fazer. Então, não parei para estudar, não parei para ver, não vi nada. Isso eu deixei mais para os treinadores mesmo, e para mim eu quero fazer a minha luta, né? Então, eu foquei em mim, foquei nas minhas habilidades, naquilo que eu tenho que fazer de melhor. Acho que, prolongando um pouco mais, Fabiano, a merda que eu fiz da última luta foi uma merda aquela porra, então eu não posso fazer isso. Eu acho que todo mundo que vê o Aldo, espera sempre fazer grandes lutas, faz chegar lá dentro e dar seu melhor e, pô, fazer luta, né? Então, não aquela coisa que eu fiz na última luta, de ficar, pô, uma merda de luta. Então, não vou esquecer esse lado de estudar o oponente, fazer qualquer coisa. Por isso que eu sempre deixo bem claro que não de respeito ao meu adversário, mas sim focar em mim. Focar lá e, meu irmão, todo mundo sabe quem eu sou, então todo mundo vai me estudar. Então, eu não preciso ficar estudando ninguém, assim, pelo que eu tenho de histórico. Então, eu vou chegar lá dentro, vou fazer meu trabalho, vou agressivo para cima, não importa o que aconteça. Eu acho que foi assim que eu virei campeão e é assim que eu tenho que ser.
As far as the fight and to be here in Canada is also is a pleasure because I mean those first title fight here I've had very good memories. Obviously, it was in Toronto, but it's a pleasure to be here. As far as an opponent's concerned, I have to tell you something. Like I did not see much of him. Not out of disrespect. I'm going to say this a couple times. I think not about the disrespect. I didn't see much of him on a technical side. I had my coaches take a look at it and to focus on what he brings to the table. There's a lot that was focused on what I need to do. I'll tell you what, but that shit that I did in the last fight, I mean, that's some shit I don't want to do again. I was not happy with the way it happened, and it was just a shitty fight. That's what it was. I don't want to do. People that know Jose Aldo, they know what I bring to the table. They know what I'm able to do. They expect aggressiveness. They expect me to do so, to do great things. So I told people I'm not going to focus on looking at my opponent and the things that they bring into. I'm going to bring my fighting style to them, and I'm going to get that win. And I think that they know who I am. Every opponent is out there to see. They know what I bring to the table, so they will study me anyway. So I really focused on this particular camp to actually just go after my style, what I want to bring as a fighter, and I left it to coaches to actually take a look at it.
I'm gonna ask about that. How annoying was being involved in that fight, and what have you made of the fans are mad at Mario for that fight? Like they're kind of like he hasn't had a fight booked yet. People don't want him to see a fight anymore. I guess just how annoying was it to be involved in that?
E eu ia perguntar para você o quão irritante foi estar envolvido com aquela luta que você passou, porque assim, teve gente que depois daquela luta ficou irritado com o Mário Bautista, ele não consegue entrar numa luta porque ninguém quer ver ele lutar. Quão chato foi, quão irritante foi aquela luta?
Então, por isso mesmo, né? Então, eu mesmo fiquei puto comigo mesmo, fiquei muito mal. Não só sobre a luta, mas, porra, a personalidade que eu tenho, né? Então, eu chegar lá dentro, eu tenho que fazer mais. Então, assim, eu jamais vou tirar o mérito do meu oponente ou de qualquer coisa, mas, assim, eu me conhecendo, muito mais forte, muito mais habilidoso, muito mais tudo do que o Mário, e eu ficar igual um retardado lá na grade, aceitando aquilo, por outras coisas envolvidas, e eu deixar me levar por isso. Então, assim, eu fiquei mal, cara. Depois da luta, eu fiquei, pô, não conseguia nem me ver eu falar de qualquer coisa de luta pelo aquilo que eu fiz ali dentro. Então, eu sei quantos fãs ficaram putos, o UFC, todo mundo, pô, sou pago, muito bem pago, para fazer meu trabalho, chegar lá dentro, e não importa se é vitória ou se é derrota, mas você tem que fazer seu trabalho bem feito. Então, eu parei para pensar, estudei, vi onde que eu poderia melhorar, onde que eu poderia subir ainda mais. Então, é isso que eu tentei fazer agora para essa luta. Então, por isso que eu falo, não é de respeito a qualquer oponente, qualquer coisa, mas eu tenho que focar em mim, como sempre foi. Acho que antigamente, quando eu estava lá atrás, não tinha negócio de estudo, ficar, porra, essa merda de internet que ficou hoje em dia, o cara faz isso, aquilo, não sei o quê. Então, eu ficava esperando uma coisa e não conseguiu porra nenhuma. E o juiz também não separava aquela merda, e ficou uma luta feia pra caralho, onde que eu, porra, fiquei muito puto, onde que eu não conseguia nem assistir luta, não conseguia falar sobre a luta também. Então, porra, eu falei, não, meu, então chega lá dentro, sai na porrada que tem que fazer, meu irmão, se é vitória, se é derrota, não importa, mas chega lá e faz seu trabalho, para aquilo que tu recebe. Então, é isso que eu foquei, é isso que eu quero fazer.
I was fucking annoyed too. Listen, I was pissed off at myself, and it's not disrespect to the opponent. No, I think he went out there and he did his job. But the thing is, like, I couldn't talk about fights. It was just so, again, it was a shitty thing. I was like, and you listen, you go into the fight to do your job. You train so hard. I've been doing this for a long time, and people expect that of me. They expect me to be, there's a style, there's an aggressiveness, a win or lose, you deliver. No matter what happens, you're supposed to take your fight to the opponent. And there's a lot of stuff that happened. Like, okay, so I went out there, I had all these plans. You think about the studying of the opponent. So we just had all these plans of things that we could do in that fight. Study the opponent to didn't stand like a dumbass against the fence, and nothing happened. So I was pissed. Everybody was pissed. I couldn't talk about fight for a long time. It got me like off of fighting. So I listen. I'm paid very well. I'm paid and very well to do this. Everybody expects this of me, and there's this crap about the internet now. Everybody just keeps watching what people do, and they're like, oh no, the opponent's going to do this, and they study that. They study the tendencies that could happen. It's like, listen, you go out there and you fight, because I was fucking pissed with everything that happened. I couldn't talk about fighting. He got me off. Even my mind was off because I couldn't talk about it, just because of the fact that it was so annoying. I'm gonna go out there regardless. Just this, not disrespect for the opponent. You're paid to fight. You're going to go there, win or lose. You're going to go at it, and you're going to bring your game to him. I don't want to talk about this. I just want to go out there and do my job.
Just two more for me, unrelated to your fight. I don't know if I've seen you comment on it, but Dominic Cruz retired. A lot of people consider you two the greatest WEC fighters ever. I'm curious, just what did you make of his career as a whole, and is it kind of bum you out that the injuries are kind of forced him out the door?
E só comentário também sobre o Dominic Cruz, porque você e ele são considerados como os melhores lutadores da história do WEC. O que você poderia falar da trajetória dele? E se você sente assim, como lutador, uma lástima do cara ter tantas lesões que acabaram parando ele ao longo da carreira?
Acho que isso que foi o problema, né, da carreira do Dominic. Eu acho que as lesões que ele teve, eu acho que tiraram ele, né, eu acho, do melhor Dominic que a gente poderia ver dentro do Ultimate, né? Eu acho que quando nós estávamos no WC, né, tanto ele quanto eu, todo mundo ia assistir, né? Então todo mundo gostava de ver os dois estilos, muito agressivo e ele muito dinâmico, saltando para lá e para cá. Só que acho que as lesões tiraram muito dele, assim, aquele potencial dele que ele tem, né? Então, assim, eu como atleta, eu fico triste por isso, né? Que eu sabia o potencial dele, né? Então, via ele chegando a alto nível, como todo mundo sonhava, tanto eu quanto ele fazer uma grande luta, né? Então, os fãs queriam isso, eu acho que o Ultimate, nós, só que isso tirar dele, né, as lesões, eu acho que isso impossibilitaram ele de fazer ainda mais a carreira dele brilhante.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately the injuries deterred him from actually being we ended up being deprived of seeing the best Dominic Cruz out there and the best version of himself that he wanted to give us because of the injuries. I think that back when we were at WC, I think everybody stopped to see us. They saw me as this aggressive guy. They saw him as this dynamic guy, and we wanted that same thing to happen in the UFC. But coming over here, it is just a lot of injuries. He wasn't able to sustain for that long. But I think that was it. Just a great fighter that, unfortunately, as a fighter, I think you want to see fighters succeed. You want to see the best of them. And unfortunately, that we wouldn't be able to see the versions because of all the injuries he had.
Last one for me, your opponent Aiemann is going to have George St. Pierre in his corner, another fellow all-time great like yourself. I know you've spoken to him a lot in the past, but I guess what's it like to see George in the corner? And George's advice to Aiemann is you can't respect Jose Aldo. You got to go in there and just kind of put it on him.
A última pergunta do José é sobre o fato de que no corner do Aiemann vai estar o GSP. Dois grandes, você e ele, dois grandes. O que quão estranho é ver ele lá na esquina do cara, e diz que um dos conselhos que ele deu cara, não dá para respeitar o José Aldo não, cara.
Pois é, assim, a primeira vez, né, quando eu falei, né, agora há pouco, sobre estar aqui no Canadá, eu também tive, né, contra o George, então não é a primeira vez, não, que a gente vai estar lá dos opostos, né, que eu lutei contra o Mike Homnick, então, assim, é um ícone do nosso esporte, né, onde que todo mundo respeita, todo mundo adora o George, então, assim, um carinho eu tenho por ele muito grande, mas eu acho que ali dentro é trabalho, né? Então ele vai defender o lado dele, vou defender o meu lado, mas depois a gente pode ser normal, os amigos, como sempre, assim, um respeito, o carinho que eu sinto por ele, nada influenciou por causa disso. Ele tá defendendo uma coisa, então, querendo ou não, o Zahabi é irmão, né, do treinador dele de muito tempo, então não vejo problema disso não, então ele sabe o quão grande que eu sou, como também sei como ele foi, né? Então, acho que faz parte do trabalho. Acho que só quem tem que ganhar isso é os fãs do UFC, de estar dois ícones praticamente na mesma noite, né? Só que um lutando, o outro de corner.
And listen, that's not the first time that we're going to be against each other. We've been in opposite corners before. My fight against Mike was the same thing. I think, listen, there's nothing that happens with the fact that he's going to be opposite to me that will take the respect and the love that I have for the guy. Because he's just he's an icon. I have the uttermost respect. He's just doing his job, and whatever happens afterwards, it doesn't matter. We'll still have the same admiration for each other. I think that he, just like last time, we were talking about the brother of somebody who's been on it with him for such a long time. So no matter what happens, we'll have the respect. There's, the people that are going to win are the fans to see, two legends of the sport, one of them fighting, the other one on his corner.
Jose, since you came back to the UFC from your retirement, you fought Jonathan Martinez, Mario Bautista, and now Zahabi. I think because of your reputation in this sport, people are kind of surprised to see you getting matched up against these sort of people. We expect you to be in the bigger fights. Are you yourself surprised that the UFC are putting you against these younger up-and-comers rather than the more established names?
Desde a tua volta, a gente viu você lutar com o Martins, você lutar com o Bautista e agora você está com o Zahabi. Eu acho que as pessoas, por conta da tua reputação, esperavam talvez que você lutasse contra outros nomes. Você está surpreso, você mesmo, que ao invés de dar nomes grandes logo de cara, a pessoa vai votar esses caras aí que estão chegando no teu caminho?
Não, acho que surpresa nenhuma. Acho que isso também influenciou um pouco a mim. Acho que isso é mais do bastidor. Eu não sei. Eu sou pago para lutar, então eu gosto de lutar. Então é isso que eu tenho que fazer. Quanto os outros atletas, hoje em dia, todo mundo fica esperando. Vamos falar do o que acontece entre os ranqueados ali. Quem está de 5 para baixo, do primeiro, segundo, terceiro até o quinto, não quer lutar com o sexto, o sétimo, oitavo ou nono. E quem está depois disso, do sexto, sétimo, oitavo, nono, décimo, não quer lutar com o 11º, 12º, 13º, por aí vai. Então, é uma coisa que eu não vejo na minha cabeça. Para mim ser campeão, não importa quem seja, se for um nome sem expressão ou com um nome com muita expressão. É assim que eu me vejo. Então, eu tenho que chegar lá com toda a minha habilidade, com toda que eu tenho, chegar lá e passar por cima desses caras. Isso volta de novo ao Kumaro, com Johnny Martinez, né? Cara, fiz uma grande luta. Acho que todo mundo esperava onde que ele passar por cima de mim, porque eu estava voltando, que era depois de 2 anos. Se eu alongar muito, falo, Fabiano, tu corta. Então, eu cheguei lá, fiz uma grande luta, com explosão, com velocidade, com isso tudo. Então, para mim, não importa. Pô, com o Mário, por exemplo, acontecem outras coisas que eu fico numa merda daquela onde que eu não consigo nem olhar uma luta por causa que, meu irmão, por tudo aquilo que eu sei que eu sou, eu tenho que fazer muito melhor. Eu tenho que chegar lá dentro, eu tenho que nocautear ele. Não tinha habilidade, não tinha mão pesada, não tinha nada. Porra, eu vi os golpes, ficava brincando e não lutei. Então, porra, eu não posso aceitar isso. Então, para mim, independentemente de qualquer outro adversário, eu entendo cada um a carreira. Querendo ou não, já fui campeão por longo tempo, já tenho uma história muito grande. Então, eu até fico vendo dessa maneira. Mas o Aldo não. O Aldo foi feito para lutar. Então, eles me pagam bem para lutar. Eu tenho que chegar lá. Ou um cara com pouco nome, o cara com muito nome, eu tenho que chegar lá dentro, tenho que nocautear e ir embora. E assim a gente vai ser campeão.
Listen, I like to fight, and people put me, obviously, they put me, they give me those names, and it's like, I like to fight, and I'm paid to fight, and I'm gonna fight anybody that's needed. But what happens is a lot of stuff that happens backstage, and obviously related to fighting. But think about this: the people that are like, 5 and like below, meaning or above, meaning from 1 to 5 for number 1 contender into 5. They do not want to fight outside the top 10. They don't want to fight the 6th or 7th guy. And when you get from the 6th to the 10th guy, they do not want to fight people within the top 10 to top 15 and so forth. So they're not going to fight people that are below that. But the main thing is that I came back to be a champion, and I need to go through people that are on my way. And I'm going to go out there and show everything. For example, when it happened to Jonathan Martinez, like everybody thought, okay, I mean, he's the up and comer, and Aldo hasn't fought in 2 years, so he's probably gonna run through the guys. Like, well, no, I had a great fight. I did what I needed to do. People made it that he was maybe gonna knock me out, or going to run through me, and I showed after 2 years that I had everything that was needed to beat him, and I had a great fight after 2 years. So great. Well, and then what happened against Bautista, a guy that I don't know why, that crap happened again. The heavy hand was not there. The skill set was not there. Against me, I should have done better. I know why I was so pissed. Something that happens that turned me off of fighting. I know the skill set I bring. I know what I can bring to the table, and I should have ran through that guy. So whatever happens, regardless of Martinez, regardless of Bautista, I need to be able and ready to fight anybody that they put in front of me in order to be a champion. If those are the names that are going to put in front of me, so be it. But I just need to do it.
E também eu não culpo o UFC, assim, desculpa, rapidinho. Parece que eu sou igualzinho, quanto mais velho for ficando melhor, estou muito mais explosivo, muito mais experiente, muito mais rápido, então por isso tudo, então não tem que eu chegar lá dentro e ficar fazendo, escolher um adversário, eu quero casar com um grande nome, fazer uma luta feia, querendo ou não, para ser cara que dá 2 aposentado, gordo, chega, pega um soco e cai, como acontece isso? Comigo não, então se eu estou em alto nível, se eu estou fazendo ainda com a mesma explosão, se eu tenho condições de ser campeão, onde que todo mundo tem medo, o campeão tem medo de lutar, porque sabe que foi uma luta dura, onde foi ajudado pelo juiz, então todo mundo sabe da capacidade que eu tenho ainda, e eu sei disso também, porque eu sinto no treino, então o que vocês vão ver na luta, eu passo isso na academia também, com garotos novos chegando, treinando comigo, os caras falam, caraca, é impossível, meu irmão, como é que o cara continua sendo assim ainda, fazendo isso tudo, e meu irmão, dando pau nos caras novos, entendeu? Então, por isso que quando eu chego lá dentro, eu não posso chegar e ficar um retardado.
And I don't blame the UFC either. I mean, I don't blame the UFC. Like whenever you come back into the fighting game, you don't. What did you expect? Me to come back and just put a bunch of retired dudes that are like overweight or something like that, or that to fight me? No, they're gonna give me some young talent, and you need to be able to face those challenges. And I think that listen, what happens, what you guys are seeing right now, of them putting me out against up and comers, that's what happens in the gym. My work ethic and what I can bring to the table. And listen, while I can do this, while I'm able-bodied to do this, and while I still have it, I can tell you something. In the gym, when I come back, they always bring the up-and-coming dudes, and they're like, "What the hell? How are you still delivering on the promise like that? Why you do?" So I know my skill set. I know what I can bring to the table. Listen, I can't be there sitting like a dumbass in the last fight. Like I need to put my skill set and all the aggressiveness that I have, and I just need to bring to the table. And I will do that against anybody they put in front of me.
Jose, right here to your back here. Just curious, Aiemann was in here earlier. He actually had you winning the Bautista fight, but your reaction to it, where you said you couldn't even talk about fighting, have you ever had that emotional of a reaction to a loss or any fight before?
Zahabi estava aqui antes, ele falou que ele acha que também você venceu a luta contra o Bautista. Mas você já teve alguma situação como essa? Você, em toda a carreira que você teve, em toda a quantidade de luta que você fez, de você simplesmente não querer nem falar de luta, nem ver luta depois de uma luta?
Assim, sim, né? Acho que tive uma derrota marcante também, né? Contra o Conor. Então, ali onde que, porra, não falava de luta, nem via luta, nada, assim, então foi bem marcante. Quanto essa, né? Só que, pô, eu perdi, querendo ou não, perdi. Então, sim, eu fiquei frustrado mais porque eu não consegui desenvolver tudo aquilo que eu treinei na luta contra o Conor. Mas contra o Mário, não. Pô, eu treinei da melhor maneira, onde que eu tava bem pra caraca, treinando, fazendo tudo certo, e chega lá dentro eu não faço isso. Então, fico decepcionado comigo mesmo pelo fato de saber que eu tinha condições. Foram 15 minutos de uma merda que eu fiz.
Well, to not watch a fight, I can tell you, I had a very, very important loss against Conor, and I obviously don't want to see that. But the thing is, like, still the problem there was that, first of all, I lost, and no, I was not able to develop. That fight never developed, right? So that was the problem. But against Mario, it's like, I was ready, I was prepared, I'm better. I did, there were so many things I could do, and I didn't do anything. So you just get frustrated. I got disappointed at myself. I got frustrated at myself. And it was just shitty, man. I'll tell you.
Because you want to go out and kind of correct from that and make up for that last fight, do you have to be careful not to overcorrect, not to kind of leave yourself open or come out too aggressive?
Por conta do fato de que você passou pelo que você passou, você agora vai com muita sede ao pote, você tem que se cuidar para não vir muito agressivo e para não fazer, talvez corrigir demais as coisas, porque da última vez você foi ficou na tua?
Acho que não, acho que todo mundo quer ver isso. Então, é isso que eu te falo, acho que luta é 50-50. Meu irmão, decorrer vai subindo um, vai descendo o outro, e assim que é a luta. Então, ou qualquer esporte, não tem como ficar muito esperando alguma coisa, não. Se tiver de acontecer, será. Então, a gente treina para tudo. A gente treina, chegar lá, meu irmão, agressivo como é nos sparring, então eu botei uma garotada nova pra caraca lá, de outra equipe, treinando bastante, forte, e se acontecer, isso era para acontecer. Então, não é questão de, eu tenho que ficar esperando ou qualquer outra coisa. Não, acho que isso faz parte da luta. Então, como eu falei, cara, eu tenho que chegar lá dentro e lutar. Então, independentemente de se ganhar ou perder, mas eu fiz o meu trabalho onde que todo mundo esperava, eu fui lá dentro agressivo e fiz o meu papel.
No, I think that listen, fighting is 50-50. Anything can happen on both sides. There are moments, there are ebbs and flows. Sometimes, like you're high up on a fight, and all of a sudden there are low moments on a fight. So you have to be ready for whatever happens. I can tell you one thing. I brought people, young people from other gyms to fight me because I said just to all that hunger so I could fight them. Like you can't be worried about not doing, maybe I shouldn't do much because otherwise, something can happen. Anything can happen in a fight, and you have to be ready for it. So I trained a lot. I got ready for this. I thinking about the possibilities, and you got to be ready. You just, again, winning or losing, you have to deliver. So I did everything that I could to be able to come here and deliver without worrying about that.
Obrigado.
Nada, amigo. Thank you. Oi? Thank you, guys.
Hi, Belal. Just right here. Just a quick question. Is your shirt a reference to the fight of Leon against Kamaru? It's written bully because you let him bully him? I don't know.
It wasn't, but now it is,
Okay.
right? Yeah, my nickname's Bully B. I do see myself as a bully. I bully all these guys in the cage, so we're gonna keep doing it.
And more seriously, have you something in mind for Saturday nights? Like a clear way to win? Like something precise?
Yeah, I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna show that I'm the best boxer in the welterweight division. I'm the best fighter in the welterweight division, and I'm gonna show my dominance again.
You think your boxing is underrated today?
100%. I think everything about me is underrated. People go in there and they assume stuff, but when they get into the cage with me, then they realize what it is. They realize what these hands do. They realize what this pressure does, and it breaks everybody.
Thank you very much, Belal.
Well, over here, other side, right here. I'm just curious, how's camp been for this one? Because this is your first, fight week as reigning champion. Charles Radtke, he was in here, and you were peaking at the same time with him. Juliana's got her fight. Yair had his fight last month, and he's just saying, seeing all these high-level fighters like in the gym at the same time is just kind of extra motivation for him to keep up. So I guess, was it like for you to just be, reigning champion here for your first fight week as reigning champion?
I mean, I didn't look at it as like I'm the reigning champion. I looked at it as, bro, your next fight is your toughest fight. It's your hardest fight. But like you said, our team, we're like a small family. So when one of us win, we all win. And we're riding high right now. We had a huge win with Ignacio Balmondez, then Yair, and then being in the camp with my brother Charlie. We're all pushing each other. We're all want to see each other grow, want to see each other get better. And that's what I love about our team. Like, there's no egos. There's nothing there. Like, we all want to see each other. See, they're all here with me now. That energy is just different. It feels good. And my mentality is I got to work harder than the last fight. This version I am today is better than the version I was yesterday. The version I'm going to be tomorrow is going to be better than the version I am today. It's just about keep growing and keep getting better.
You said you're viewing this as, your next fight's always your toughest test. Do you see Jack as the toughest all-around test for you? Because you're in this unique position where you fought in a lot of the guys already to get to the title, and now you're fighting Jack, who you didn't have history with. So I guess, is he the toughest test, or is it just that's how you have to view it?
No, you have to look at it like that, right? I never look past anybody. I never, underestimate anybody. So your next fight is always your toughest fight. I'm fighting the best boxer in the UFC. I'm fighting the best wrestler. I'm fighting the best grappler. So I got to train like I'm fighting all those guys. I got to train like I'm fighting RoboCop. That's my mentality every single fight. And then after the fight, it'll be like, all right, well, that was easy. So it's okay. Well, we'll see who's next.
You said, I'm not going to shoot for a takedown. I want to show off my Canelo boxing. Jack did an interview, and he said, well, I think I could get him on the feet and the ground. I'm just the better MMA fighter all around. So this fight seems unique compared to your last one, where it was kind of back and forth, bad blood. And the two of you just kind of seem to be trash talking over skill set rather than like personal issues. So I guess, how do you view just Jack's skill set as a whole compared to, past guys?
Yeah, obviously, he's a good striker. He's got a long streak going. I think he got heart. He doesn't give up. He showed his last fight with a broken arm. He still pushed through. But the difference is he's never fought anybody like me. He's never seen somebody like me. There's levels to like pressure. There's levels to experience. And I've been in there, like you said, with everybody. I had to take the long road to get here. He got a shortcut. He got a shortcut to the top. And it's nothing against him, right? You take whatever comes your way. But I think that's going to hurt him. Because when he's in there and, stuff doesn't start going his way and he's looking for his coaches to tell him something, his coaches, or trying to look to the past and think of what he did to adjust, there's not going to be no adjustments. Whatever he adjusts, I'm going to adjust better, and I'm going to break him.
I know you've been asked this 1,000 times, so I'm not going to ask again, but is it strange that a lot of fans are viewing this fight as kind of the linchpin to two weight classes, like welterweight and lightweight? After Saturday, they can start booking a lot of fights. Is it like every interview it seems to do, that seems to be one of the prevailing questions, like, oh, what about Islam? What about Ilya? What about Shavkat? What about middleweight? So is it get annoying after a while so close to a fight?
Yeah, 100%, right? But for me, it doesn't matter. Like I told all these guys, book your fights right now, because I'm not leaving Saturday without the belt.
And what do you make of Usman's, he's saying, like, if you guys are backstage together, you might need extra security after the issues you guys have had?
Ooh,
Kamaru Usman.
the former champion on a 3-fight losing streak. I would have to be afraid of that guy with no knees and no cartilage and a big head. Ah, man, I think I'll be fine.
And what have you made of Ian? We saw you and Ian's son, fun thing where he interviewed you. And what do you make of Ian's, weighing in as the backup in a possible next opponent?
I mean, I think he's doing all the right stuff, right? He took that short notice fight against a guy with a lot of hype, and he won convincingly. I think for him to step up as a backup 2 weeks later, he's talking the loudest right now, especially in a division where if Shavkat's hurt, there's not a clear number one contender, and the loudest guy in the room is going to get the call. I think he's doing the right stuff. I think you better hope that shows up, because if he does have to step in at short notice, it's going to be a bad night.
Bilal, we've recently seen pictures of Hunter Campbell over in Dagestan talking to Islam, Habib in Dubai and stuff. And it seems like the vibe is they're waiting to see if you win or lose, right? If he moves up or doesn't. Is there a chance that they've made a decision to move up and challenge you without speaking to you internally? I know you guys are friends and stuff.
No, I don't think they would do that. I talk to Habib all the time. He even messaged me the other day. So like I said, some guys are so big about loyalty, and I'm the same.
What's the issue with you and Craig Jones going on at the moment? It seems to be a bit of back and forth online.
He's talking, right? He's a character. It's always fun again. I love guys when there's a little bit of trash talk, right? When there's a little bit of build up. Jack's not a really big talker, so let's put Craig in the press conference.
I'm sure he would love to do that, brother. And then lastly, I just saw a video online. Colby Covington hid your food at the PI. I don't know if you're aware of that or if you even care, but curious what you think about Colby still throwing shots at you at this point.
He hid my food. I'm not even in Vegas. That's how much of a moron he is. I don't know what he's doing. These guys are like YouTubers now. Kamaru's a podcaster. Kobe's a YouTuber. They need to do a podcast together. The Biggest Losers.
And last one, speaking of that podcast, do you think there's a reason they haven't put it out yet? Or do you think they may be holding it in case he gets a title shot? Or is there a reason why? Did he come off worse is basically what I'm asking.
No, I mean, if you're a grown man and you start crying on a podcast, it's your podcast, and you start tearing up, why would you want to put it out there? Unless there's like a really good editor that's going to try to clear it up. But I don't think they got that much money.
Belal? Right here. Ball right over here. Other side.
Yeah. So what does a win mean here for you and your legacy, especially with GSP, who will be in the audience, especially in arguably his hometown?
It would be huge, right? Another guy with a double-digit winning streak, and to win in Montreal in front of GSP, right? To go to the welterweight division, he's on everybody's Mount Rushmore. A guy that I looked up to, I always watched when I was younger, that you always try to be like and mimic. And just the way he did it, right? He didn't use trash talk. He didn't use any like antics to get to the top. He just used hard work, and he won every single fight, dominant. And that's what I'm trying to chase, right? That's always my next goal is to. You have to have a goal when you're a fighter, right? My first goal was the gold. Now my next goal is the GOAT. So I'm chasing him, and to be chasing him and starting here in Montreal and in front of him is going to be great.
One final one for me. How has Montreal been the past couple of days?
It's been amazing, man. Every single person in here, every interactions we've had with people has been great. You can just tell it's going to be great energy at the fights. The weather's been great. So excited for it, man. I just need to get some Montreal food.
Well, right here. On one of the embedded episodes, Jack said he's gonna beat you, and then it's retirement time, buddy. I think was his quote. For him to kind of, it's one thing to want to win the fight, all that, but for him to, I guess, have flashes of saying he wants to end your career, does that add anything extra for you?
No, I just think he's not really good at trash talk, so he's like trying to get like phrases and stuff from like Craig Jones or something like that. But I'm not even close to being at the end. And if he thinks it's gonna be that, it's gonna be a long night for him. I think I'm going to go in there. I'm going to break him. And for him to just keep adding these little words, these little phrases, right? He's going to, I'm going to save the division. I'm going to save this. I'm going to do that. I just can't wait for him to eat his words and eat these fists.
And when he says, or I know you had said before the last fight, and I think it was a little bit taken out of context, the idea of maybe if you didn't beat Leon, that would have been the end for you. Do you think that's maybe in people's heads still somewhere thinking like, once Belal loses, he's going to move on?
No, it's not. We're not going to lose. We're going to continue winning. And like I said, I'm here to build the biggest and best legacy the world has ever seen. And I started young. I started late, right? I started at 23 years old. My body feels good. It's the strongest I ever felt, the best I ever felt. We still got 10 more years in us. So when Jack gets to, 38, then maybe I'll give another rematch.
And I know it had taken you a while to get to the spot, and I'm sure you probably wish this was your second or third title defense before the injury happened. So like when you get through this fight the way you want to, are you wanting to make a quick turnaround and maybe defend the belt again 1 or 2 times this year?
Yeah, 100%. Like I love to stay active. I love to push it. And like I said, we're a small team. So right after this fight, we're back in the camp. Nacho's fighting Fiziev. So I got to get back to work. So I got to make quick light work of Jack and come out uninjured and then start throwing kicks at Nacho.
What have you heard about where Shavkat is at right now? Because, we haven't heard too much about his health. He's not, I don't think, going to be here this week. Do you feel like he's going to be healthy enough to fight on your timeline after this? Or are you maybe going to look at Brady or Buckley if he wins or one of those guys?
Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't heard anything. I haven't been looking for anything. I just been like fully concentrated. My target's on Jack. After I beat Jack, finish Jack, then I can start looking at these next guys. But my mindset, we're locked in right now.
Belal, right here. Right here, brother.
One here, yeah. International agents. I know you mentioned them yesterday. Refer the international agents. Usually, a rock star when they get on stage, they get to introduce their crew. Could you tell us, because they've been with you forever, what these gentlemen do for you and who they are?
Oh, appreciate you, brother. Yeah, obviously head coach. That's the man at the helm, Mike Valle. I think the best coach in the world that doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He got 2 world champions, and we're just a small gym in Chicago. We're the only gym in the world with 2 world champions. That's my brother right there, Louis Taylor. Been with me since the beginning, since high school. I wouldn't be a fighter if I never met him, didn't get with him, and we've been on this journey together from the start. So that's to win the belt with him and to see him win his belt at PFL and come here and watch me win my belt should be a Netflix series. And obviously my brother Nacho, my main man, my main sparring partner, my main training partner, my brother. I'll do anything for him. And literally, I get better and I get hungrier every single day, every time I train with him.
Yeah, Belal, just one. Where do you rate your ability to kind of talk trash and get under people's skin, right? Because initially, we saw Leon Edwards kind of playing it off. He said, "Oh, it's just Belal, isn't it?" And then we saw what happened. And then recently in his last fight, you got Sean Brady in the post fight giving you a shout out, being like, "What up, Belal? We got Leon out of there. Like, thanks for getting under his skin and not even being here," type thing. So where do you rate your ability right now?
I'm the best, man. None of these guys can compete with me in the trash talk. That's what I want. I need a worthy adversary, somebody that's going to try to build it up and talk. But it's just all fun to me, right? That, like you said, now they're all trying to be friendly with me because they're like, man, I don't want to talk trash to him because he's going to embarrass us. So let's just keep it friendly until we get to fight night.
Blow right here. You've taken the long road to get here. You've also in the past talked about, the journey is not complete until you're considered the best welterweight to ever do that. So what does that look like to you? Is it chasing GSP's records? Is it quality of competition? Like, how do you measure what's going to make you the best welterweight?
I think quality of competition, right? When you look at the guys I have in my resume, they're some of the best to ever do it. So now these young up-and-comers that have these long streaks. So I end some of these streaks. I take some of their O's. And I think it's just inevitably going to happen where they're going to talk about it, right? Where GSP is like 10 in a row or title defenses in a row. We're chasing that. We could reach that, but I think I'll be good enough with my resume where you'll be like, he's right next to him. He's competing with him. Like they were always talking about Kamaru and him. There's not going to be no talk after I'm done. It's just going to be me and GSP. That's it. There's going to be nobody else in the conversation.
And just one more. I mean, there are fighters who will say that you're not the champion until you defend the title. So do you have that mindset or do you not pay attention to that?
No, I'm the champion. I won it. I earned it. But for me, it's we're not defending the belt. We're fighting for the belt again. That's always my mindset. I'm not coming in here, as the guy that's being hunted. I'm the hunter. I want Jack's record. I want Jack's streak. I want Jack's soul.
Thank you. Belal, right here, over here. In your career, obviously, as has been said many times today, you've taken the long road to get to the top of the mountain. Is there any particular moment that you can pinpoint in your rise up to become champion where, something changed and you got yourself to an elite level status?
Yeah, I think after beating Wonder Boy, he was one of the guys that, you always watched. He fought for the title twice, and I was so nervous to fight him. And I've seen a couple of camps with like Anthony Pettis and Woodley in there, and it was like, they're like, man, he's nothing like these guys. He's nothing like this. So going in there and dominating him like that like told me that I belong with the elite. and I'm good enough to be the champion.
Obviously, Ian Gary is the stand-in opponent if anything happens. You've kind of somewhat poured cold water over him being the next challenger. Normally, when we do see someone coming in as a backup fighter, they do get the next shot. How do you feel about that whole situation?
No, I never. I said he's the one talking the loudest, right? I think when you're looking at the guys in the division, he had a big win over Pratis. Brady had a big win for Leon. Shavkat has a win over Ian. And then you got Kamaru and Buckley about to fight right now. So there's a lot of movement that's going to be happening. And like you said, the Ian's waiting up as a backup. He stepped up on short notice. So, I mean, if the UFC calls, we're answering no matter what, who it is.
Thank you.
Well, just one more. I know you made the Canelo hands quote a couple months ago before he had just fought this last weekend, and obviously there was a very low output from him. Are you still promising the Canelo hands, or do you want to amend the quote a little bit now?
Well, dude, it wasn't his fault. It was his opponent's fault. He was just moving. He was trying to survive, right? And it's hard to do like that. Jack's not going to do that. I think Jack's going to step in front. And when he stands there in front, he's going to get hurt.
Just curious, who do you have in the Usman and Buckley fight?
Usman and Buckley? I got Buckley. I think Buckley's riding high right now. He has a long streak. Usman's been out for 2 years. And when you're out for 2 years, it's hard to come back.
Jack, on the cusp of a first title shot in the UFC against a dominant champion, dominant performances by Belal. How are you feeling ahead of your chance at gold?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It feels like any other fight week, and I feel like all the preparations have gone well. I feel like I've left no stone unturned. I'm ready to go out there and perform.
It's funny, right? This one sort of came to you a little bit unexpected. You know, you were sort of preparing, I think it's for Leon, right? And then suddenly this title shot comes to you. Does that give you an extra fire, or are you just putting in the miles and the work in the gym anyway? So it doesn't really matter if there's a gold belt on the line. You're going to be putting in the work as hard as you can anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, fine, but this is the big one. You know, I've been working at this for a long time. But yeah, just for another fight, you know, 5-rounder. I was prepping for a 5-rounder and now fighting the best guy in a 5-rounder. Couldn't put all the work in. Toughest fight of my life.
Bilal's a funny one, right? Because everyone sort of looks at him and thinks, okay, forward pressure, lots of takedown attempts, just try and control you. So in a way, you would think, okay, that gives me something that I know what I have to prepare for. But then he's coming out and saying, no, he's not going to go for one takedown. He's going to beat you on the feet and all this, maybe trying to play with your mind a little bit. What exactly have you prepared for from Belal?
I mean, I guess just all you can do is just watch his previous fights and just that's what you can expect. You know, I think his bread and butter is pushing a high pace, mixing it up, takedowns, striking. So yeah, I try not to listen too much to what he's going to say and just prepare as to what we see in his previous fights.
He's I don't think it's out of line to say that sometimes he doesn't really connect with the fan base. Do you feel like you're getting a lot of support from the fans to try and get this guy out of the title picture?
Yeah, I feel like I've got good fans, you know, fans that have stuck by me for a long time, and I think they believe in me. I mean, I appreciate my fans, but yeah, that's it. I'm just coming in here to do a job.
I believe I saw you say in an embedded that you think he's had a nice run, but it's time for him to retire, buddy. What exactly are you going to do to him to make him walk away from the sport on Saturday?
I'm going to try and finish him dominantly, you know, that'd be the way I'd like it to go down. Dominant finish, and then, yeah, that's up to him at that point, what's next for him.
You know, Belal was just in here, and you know, we talked a bit about how this fight compared to Bilal's previous fight against Leon, there's a lot of bad blood, but here it's you guys. Your trash talk is I'm better at grappling, I'm better at striking, I'm better at MMA. It's much more skill based trash talking. Is that something that you prefer, or is like if you do become champion, you might have, you know, guys kind of trying to pick at you, kind of like what Ilya did to Volk, and Volk was like, I kind of like this because it brings more attention to the fights.
I mean, whatever. I'm just going to be myself. Yeah, I'm a professional, you know, so I'm just coming in to take him out. He can say what he wants. Prepared for it all.
And there is probably as much tape on Belal as anyone in the welterweight division against, you know, Wonder Boy, high level striker, Damian Maia, Gilbert, high level grappler. So I guess, have you seen this massive progression that I guess fans seem to think Belal took this big leap in skill, or if you break down tape on him, has he always been this good and people have just been overlooking him for a long time?
I think he's always been pretty good. You know, he's always done what he needs to do to win, and I think that's his strong suit. You know, he's a winner, so it's a tough fight. It's a tough guy to beat, but I believe I've got the skills. There's a lot of tape on him, so yeah, I've been studying, and I think I've got the ability to beat him.
And then just last one for me, I asked Belal this too, and he said it is kind of annoying that pretty much every interview he does is, how does this fight shape two weight classes, right? Lightweight and welterweight, and even middleweight if Belal wants to go middleweight at some point. So is it annoying for you too that you're fighting for your first title and everyone seems to be asking, well, what's next, even though the fight hasn't even happened yet?
I mean, it's sort of it kind of always happens, you know. It's always what's next after this. But yeah, I've got my eyes on Belal. I'm gonna get through Belal and then see what happens.
Just one right here, Jake. Belal confirmed that he want to beat you on the feet. Do you think he want to play mind game with you, or do you actually think he believe that? Like, that's what my question, because it seems a little bit odd that he want to beat you on your style.
I mean, I think he's hoping, and I think he believes in himself. I believe he believes in his striking. I think obviously the fight's going to start striking, so I think he'll test it out. But I think when he gets uncomfortable or when he feels that the advantage might be leaning towards me, I think he'll lean back to his bread and butter.
Yeah. So you expect him to shoot early in the fight or to try to box at the beginning?
I try not. Yeah, I'm not expecting too much. I think he's shown in the past that he mixes it up. So I think he'll strike a bit, mix it up, shoot takedowns. Expect it all.
Last one for me. Predict a third round knockout. What's your prediction?
Yeah, I think a third round knockout sounds pretty spot on.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
Jack? Just one over here. So it's been about 10 years since the UFC has been in Montreal. I mean, what can Montreal fans and even Canadian fans, for that matter, expect Saturday night?
Yeah, I think this is the high level match, especially my match. It's the champion versus a solid contender, and I expect a tough fight, tough 5-rounder.
Thanks.
Jack right here. You win this fight, you'll get the big paycheck, have lots of opportunities coming your way. Do you use that money to get the nose surgery, or does that wait till the end of the career?
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Jack,
good one.
I just kind of want to go off one of Jose's questions earlier. What specifically about Belal do you think it is that some of these guys don't take serious about him, and then they go into the fight and they think, man, maybe I should have taken him a little bit more serious? You know what I mean? Just like we saw it with Leon when he was at the media day. He said, oh, it's just Belal, isn't it? So is there anything specific about Belal? Like, is it his character? Is it the way he acts? Or is it?
I don't know. I don't necessarily think people underestimate it. I think it'd be silly for anyone to underestimate anyone in this sport, but I think he's just proven that he's better than these guys, I think that's the bottom line. That's what I believe. I believe he's better than everyone he's fought, and that's why he's got the victory.
And then what's the interactions been with Ian Gary this week? Because we see him running around. He's trying to play jokes and do banter. Like, he's handed me a bag of M&Ms with an autograph on it. We saw him use his kid to hand you a bag of M&Ms, talk about the weight thing. Like, does it bother you? Does it feel like, the brother that's tagging along, that gets asked to come out with you guys, or do you not even worry about it?
Yeah, I try not to worry about it. He's doing his thing. He's staying, trying to stay relevant, hoping, I guess he's just hoping that someone falls through so he can get his spot, which is fair enough. But I try to avoid him. Except if it's fight time, then I won't avoid him. I will right in his face.
Jack over here. How's it going, mate? There's a rumor going around that if you win on Saturday, Perth will land the pay-per-view, and that if you lose, we'll get a fight night. Does this add to the stakes for you heading into this one?
I think it makes sense. If Perth have a homegrown champion, why not? It'd be obviously a dream come true for me to defend the belt in Perth. I think it makes sense. So whether that's something they do, I don't know. But that would obviously be a dream for me to defend a title in my backyard.
Of course. There's been a bit of noise leading into this about the Rivo Bar and Grill situation. Can you provide any clarity around that, your side of the story?
We're just doing a paid appearance thing, and it sort of fell through. It was just too much. I needed to focus on the fight, not doing that sort of stuff. But we'll do it after. When I get back, we'll make it happen. I've got a lot of fans that I've got a respect for the people that are there. So I'm excited to do that when we get back.
Yeah, well, I guess that leads into one
with the belt. It'll be even better,
Of course, that leads into one of my other questions. What is the celebration plan if the city of Perth offered you a ceremony maybe in Forest Square? Is that something that you'd be open to?
Yeah.
It's a bit high key for, you'd probably like to get a bit more low key, but we see the Wildcats there when they win a championship, that kind of thing. I think that would be a suitable environment.
Yeah, I think it would be a good moment for Perth, bring the belt back to our small city.
Of course, you've repped Perth since day one, and Steve came razor close to bringing that belt back to WA. Is that something you guys have spoken about, bringing the belt back to Perth?
I haven't spoken. Yeah, it's obviously a dream of mine. Steve was he's very close, making it happen. I believed he was going to do it, but it's a tough one, tough fight to the top. Anyone can win, so wasn't his day. I'm sure he'll be back, but I'm looking forward to bring the belt back.
Of course. And last one from me. After seeing how Edwards and Brady played out, is there a part of you that's disappointed you didn't get a shot at Leon?
I mean, it would have been I was excited for the match, but obviously this is a big opportunity, so I was happy to bypass that and take this.
Of course.
Jack, Jack, right here. You talked about, obviously you were in camp and training for a 5-round fight, so the timing works that way. And obviously this is an opportunity you have to jump on, but we talk a lot about timing in combat sports in general, in terms of like guys getting to a title fight too soon or too late. Just in general, how do you feel the timing of this title fight is in the scope of your overall career?
Yeah, I think it was good timing. I think if I hadn't got the injury, my thoughts would have been, I probably would have been fighting for a title at a similar time. I think I would have had to fight one of the top guys later in the year, and then I believe it's worked out the same. I've obviously missed a fight. I think perfect world would have had the fight beforehand, but I think timeline, it works out well.
Then no doubt you would have liked to have fought in Australia, obviously not entirely likely as the challenger, but hopefully moving forward. But just in terms of fighting in another Commonwealth country, it's not in the States. Is this kind of a good second option? It's kind of neutral ground.
Yeah, for sure. Cool city. I've never been here before outside of the when I came for the press conference a couple of weeks ago, but I was in very quick. But it's a cool place. I like traveling, checking out new places. Yeah, it's a pleasure to fight here, especially with the welterweight division. Obviously, the man GSP is from here, so it's a bit of history in the division. But yeah, I'm excited to kick off my title run in Montreal.
Jack, to your left here. Jack, on the Countdown show, obviously the UFC highlighted what was not the best start to your professional career, dropping 2 fights in a row. You look back at those times, a couple of days out from your first title challenge, for the perseverance that you've showed to get to where you are at right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's obviously, not ideal, but you learn a lot from losses. I learned a lot from both those ones, skill-wise and then mentally as well, and just been on a tear ever since. I think most athletes lose in this sport because it's a tough sport, many ways to win and lose. But I'm glad to have got the losses behind me and all wins going forward.
Alex Volkanovski picked up a great win against Diego Lopez, reclaiming the featherweight title. Did you look at that performance and take some inspiration of it coming into your own title challenge?
Yeah, 100%. Everything Volk does is inspiring. He's an Australian legend, one of the greatest athletes in our country. So yeah, I'm fully inspired by him and what he has done and what he continues to do.
Thank you.
Sorry, just one more, Jack. Belal in here earlier said that he thinks he's the best trash talker in the sport. So I'm just curious what type of heated lines you're expecting tomorrow at the press conference.
Yeah, he all he does is talk trash. So it's, I expect whatever from him. It's going to be good.
Jack, you might be the chillest guy in the UFC. When was the last time you got mad or angry at someone?
I try not to get mad too much. I can't even remember. That's a good. Yeah, I don't know. Try not to get too mad at people.
What would it?
This guy asked me about my nose.
And what would it take for an opponent to get you crazy or mad?
I don't know. I think staying calm is number one in the octagon. I think being anger can be at your own detriment. So I just stay calm, try and pull the shots.
So just one more. You said that all Belal does is talk. Does that mean you don't really consider his hands to be Canelo-esque?
No, honestly, no. I don't really see the resemblance in the Canelo hands. He does have good hands, but if you're talking skill-wise, I don't see the resemblance. Maybe I'm missing something.
He also said he's the best boxer in the welterweight division. Curious if you agree with that.
Yeah, good on him. Good on him. He's proven he's the best at the moment. Won the belt. Yeah, but I think he's good at mixing it up. But yeah, I don't know too much. His boxing's all right.
One more for me, Jack, just before. You've done some work with Craig Jones in the lead up to this fight. Do you feel that will give you an extra advantage coming in here? And what does he bring to the table as a coach for you? Obviously, when you look at straight jiu-jitsu, is a lot different than when you're implementing jiu-jitsu into mixed martial arts.
Yeah, he's obviously a good grappler, He's a good grappler. He knows what he's doing. He's been in there in the corner on big fights with Volk. And yeah, he's just been helping us out, small details. But yeah, he's sharpened the tools for us. I believe he's going to, he's given me some different stuff to work so I can get back to my feet.
He's definitely helping you out with the trash talking as well.
Yeah, that's it. And the after party's going to help us out there.
Big time. Thank you.
Sick. Thank you.
Just one more in the back.
Sorry.
Hey, Jack.
Hey.
So a few weeks back, you were training with Volk, Brad Riddell, and the Bang Chao boys. How's it training with that crew?
Yeah, it's awesome watching Volk prepare for the big fights. He's obviously been in the big fights, multiple world title fights, just to be able to be in the room with him, see how he handles himself, see how he works, and then just, learning from him. Very experienced champion. It was a beneficial trip for me for sure.
Nice. And I think Brad Riddell is looking to fight in June. If he does, do you think you'll be training with him?
Yeah, I'd love to. Brad's the man. He's a legendary striker, and now he's making a good run in his MMA career. So yeah, definitely at some point this year, I'd be keen to train with Brad again, 100%.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sick. Thank you.
Valentina, this is nothing new to you. You've done fight weeks as a reigning champion for so long. So I guess just how's camp been, and just how's fight week been as a whole preparing for Manon?
Amazing training camp, amazing fight week, a lot of energy, feeling strong, fast, powerful, and very confident.
Did you do your camp in El Paso again?
And so my camp, we divided for several locations. Started in Washington State on the Puget Sound, then Las Vegas and El Paso, and final part here, Montreal.
Before this fight was officially announced, Manon was very active on social media calling for this fight. She obviously made that bet about retirement and everything like that. Were you hoping that this fight would be sooner, or is it the perfect timing to face her here in Montreal in May?
Oh, I don't think it was that active. Actually, it was just one tweet or maybe two. And it's a little bit, she's starting probably to throw this tweet a little bit too soon, in my opinion, because I just fought and it was 1 month after the fight. But I understand she was desperate, like she kind of like had a little bit delay. But I think everything at the end worked like perfectly, and I rested good. I had amazing travel to islands of Pacific Ocean, all the Polynesia, Tahiti, Fiji. So, and with all new energy, I started my new training camp.
What do you make of Manon as a martial artist? Because on the countdown it showed her she's been doing karate since she was young. She did some wrestling, she did taekwondo. So she seems like yourself, a lifetime martial artist. And
I don't think that it's appropriate to compare myself to her, because I never will approach to any of my opponents with so much disrespect that she did.
I was about to ask that too. Did what she's been saying, how much has that bothered you?
Nothing. No, I kind of my experience in martial arts, it's so many years. I started when I was 5, and all these years before joining UFC, I already was 17-time world champion in Muay Thai, in MMA, in kickboxing. So imagine how many different characters I were able to meet, and how many words they could say or some. And if everything would bother me, I never would achieve what I achieved. So I think it's the biggest ability to kind of block all the energy what's happening around and focus on your main goal.
I guess a better phrase was, is it annoying when fighters think they have to do this rather than, she seems like the logical next fight anyway, and she still thinks that she has to kind of pick at you and to sell this fight.
It's kind of hard to say. Not for me, not annoying, because I know exactly how to focus myself on the main thing. Even like if we are like my last fight, fighting in the sphere, everyone saying like, oh my god, it's so much graphic, it's so big, how you will like focus on the fight. But for me it was not a question. I just focus on what I were doing. That's why kind of like knowing what is important, what is no, it's the most important for any fighter, and I know it.
And then just last one for me. I know you have Manon to prepare for, but I guess a lot of interviews I've seen you do, they always go, "Oh, what about Wei Li? What about Amanda?" They're looking past your fights, and it seems like that's how it's been for a while. So I guess, why do you think both fans and the media always ask you about the fight next rather than the fight that's not, the fight against Manon hasn't even happened yet?
I would say you better answer me this question. Why is the media asking this question all the time? So this is something that I really cannot answer. You have to answer to me that.
Valentina, right here. During your first reign as champion, you were never the underdog going into a fight. But right now, the odds have you as the betting underdog here. Why do you think that is? I know you don't focus too much on that, but why do you think people aren't maybe giving you the same credit going into this first title defense of this reign than your previous championship run?
Why do I say I don't have any idea why they did that? Sometimes they do some like unexpected moves, and we kind of like barely can understand what the logic logic under all of that. But if you would like really focus on these numbers all the time, you kind of like would go crazy. No, you have to really focus on your power, inner power and strength, and this is only what matters in the fight. I know exactly, if compare myself to like a few years ago, I'm better version of myself, faster, stronger, more confident, and it's just like I feel the best shape what I've been in my entire career, it's right now.
There's such few people in the UFC who have experienced what you just did, fighting the same opponent 3 times like you did with Alexa. Is there an adjustment period at all to the pacing, to just the feeling of what it's like in the octagon with someone who won't be her after sharing the cage with the same opponent for like 2 years?
Can you say again?
Just like you're so familiar with Alexa's style after fighting her 3 straight times, is there an adjustment that's going to come once you're in the cage, like having an opponent that is not Alexa for the first time in 2 years?
You know, it doesn't matter for me. I kind of like, even if you see, first of all, why we had 3 fights with Alexa, only because the second fight, it was messed up by someone's decision. And because it was a draw and it's lead for the third fight. If everyone would do their job correctly, we will be done on the second fight. And I feel that. So what was the question?
Just the adjustment from now going to Manon, completely different opponent.
You know, it's this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, because I had so many different opponents, so many fighters I faced with different style. It's kind of like, even if you see all like these 3 fights, it was completely different fights, different strategy, different like tactic, different technique, everything. But now it's kind of like, yeah, definitely we had to focus on a little slightly different tactic and technique, what is this opponent is representing. And but in general, what is mixed martial arts and what is our training was training camp was, it's doing everything. This is, you cannot just rely on one thing and like forget about your other techniques and work only a specific thing, because in the fight you will face a little maybe surprise or something like that. That's why, to avoid everything, all the surprise, you just have to focus on mixed martial arts in work and everything, striking, grappling, wrestling, because you cannot be just one. You have to be everything. You have to be universal fighter.
I know it was very important to you to fill up the rubies on the plate on the belt. Now that you've done that, what are your new goals? Is it to fill up the other plate?
Exactly. There is one plate, there is two plates, so total 16.
Valentina right here. You got a custom fight kit for this event, and the response online, fans really seem to like it. They think it's one of the better custom fight kits. Just wondering what you thought of it, and obviously the bullet makes sense. What does the dragon mean to you?
So on this fight kit, we was working together with the designer Erin. He did so amazing job. First of all, I share with him my ideas, what I would like to have in the fight kit, and then he came up with several designs. So it was not just one; it was several that everyone was so amazing and so beautiful. Very hard for me to decide which direction go. But once we finalized on dragon and tiger, because it's like I was saying, it's like opposing but complementary forces, and all together it's representing yin yang, like dynamic balance of the universe. And this is exactly what is martial arts stands for me. Balance between like strong forces and know when to step back, when to step forward. And definitely bullet, it's like my personality. That's why I put on a background a lot of like Thai style like drawing. Plus it was sakyant, its specific style, what is like, you could see a lot of tattoo on a Thai people in this style, sakyant. It's like protective amulets, what they are like for protection, for like anything. And if you could see my tattoo of Hanuman, I have the same style. So it's all around like background of sakyant, Thailand, because of my Muay Thai career, so many years of Muay Thai and spending so much time in Thailand fighting and traveling. And definitely dragon, tiger. I was born in the year of dragon, and the bullet is who I am.
And then obviously Antonina retired recently. She announced her retirement. Were you sad to see her announce her retirement? Or are you just happy that she has another career that she's very passionate about?
It's both. It's I'm very happy that she is successful in what she's doing right now. She is pilot. She is working on net jets. She was previously working on trained winds, and she been like captain of Pilatus PC-12. Now she's flying jets. It's citation latitude, and she's like building her career the same good as she was doing her mixed martial arts. But in the same time, I'm missing her being in my corner, and I think that definitely it's kind of like a person who next to you that you share in so much like all things in common. It's definitely something that I miss.
Valentina, Georges St. Pierre back in the days had a mentor called Christophe Midou, very singular Frenchman. He's been close to Manon for the last few fights. Georges St. Pierre taught his Superman punch to Manon 3 days ago. I thought you were the expert at the Superman punch. What happens when two women do a Superman punch or collapse? There's going to be a Wonder Woman that's going to come out of it. Is she going to try to pull it on you? Will you do it?
Superman?
Yeah.
Superman, Superwoman punch. It's one of my favorite technique.
That's what I'm saying. You hone it in the females competition. She may try it on you. What do you think about that?
I feel that there is a lot of copies that she's copying from me, but what I want to say, they can try to copy, but never will be the genuine one.
Just right here, Valentina. She trained with Georges St. Pierre, but we saw you train with Joanna Jedrzejczyk. How this sparring give you some extra confidence, maybe, and does she give you some advice for your battle of Saturday night?
Joanna, we have so good relationship with Joanna, and it's the thing when your rivalry through the years, because of we share so much time inside of the octagon, inside of the ring, and be able to see each other like growing, making success, and like achieving the goals, it's like more and more given like more respect, more honor, and it's wonderful to have her here. Joanna, she's amazing fighter. She is a Hall of Famer, and it's definitely, you know, it's very we started flyweight together. This is how the flyweight, women's flyweight in UFC started, from me and her. And now we are like, after all these years, we are together here. We're like different, not facing each other, like against each other, but going in the same direction.
Thank you. And as you said, there is some similarities between your fighting styles and the one from Manon. How do you handle a preparation against someone who like fight like you? It's not something difficult to face like someone who's similar as you.
You know, actually, people saying about this similarity, but I really don't see much similarity. The only similar thing is we are standing in the same stance, and maybe we are both blonde girls. This is only the similar things what we share.
Thank you. Last one for me. She predict third one finish. What's your prediction?
You know, it's funny when I like this when people like going in with so much confidence, they're saying, oh, it's gonna be finish, it's gonna be something like that. But I like this moment when they feel frustration in the ring, inside of the octagon, when they feel that nothing, any plan what they had in their head, it doesn't work. This is the best feeling, to see them breaking up. Yeah.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Valentina, right here. Obviously, Alexa Grasso has taken up a lot of your time over the last number of years. Was it nice for you to go into this camp knowing that you had a fresh face in Manon Fiorot?
Not that long time. People saying it's like it was forever or something like that. No, it actually was like a little bit more than a year.
2 years, I guess.
No, year and a half, something like that, between like all these 3 fights. No, year and a half. It's not that much. Some people, they are fighting once a year, so they kind of like can face only one opponent. But we did this 3 times. So yeah, it's the process what we have to go over, and sometimes it's happened. Sometimes you have one opponent more than one time.
Obviously, she's on this card as well, so you're not fully in rear-view mirror of Alexa Grasso yet. How do you see her fight going down with Natalia Silva?
Oh, really? I'm focused on my fight. I focus on my opponent, and I don't have time to study other opponents as well.
Okay, thank you.
Здравствуйте, Валентина. Вы дважды дрались против Алекса Грасса, против мексиканки на ночи UFC. Сейчас вы деретесь с француженкой в, по сути, франкоязычной части Канады. Не кажется ли вам, что в 3-й раз подряд будете на чужой территории? Или вы думаете, что вас здесь будут больше поддерживать, чем соперницу?
Мне не привыкать. Я всегда доказывала свое преимущество на территории соперников. И всегда все свои бои я выигрывала на чужой территории. И самое приятное чувство, когда, допустим, зал поддерживает моего соперника, и в этот момент тишина стоит, потому что соперник может сделать. Вот это самое лучшее чувство.
Сказали чуть ранее, что цель еще 8 рубинов на другой стороне пояса. Это означает, что вы все-таки остаетесь в своем дивизионе, или есть все-таки у вас мысль снова вернуться в 135?
Любые варианты. Просто сейчас, когда неделя боя, мне бы хотелось полностью сосредоточиться именно на том, что меня ожидает в эту субботу. Потому что я считаю, что это для меня, для моего характера, это самое важное. Ты должен сфокусироваться на предстоящем противостоянии. Потому что когда человек фокусируется на всем подряд, сразу думая обо всех, он тратит свою энергию зря. Энергия уходит в разные концы. Но для того, чтобы достичь истинного успеха, нужно всю эту энергию направить вдоль канала в одно направление. Поэтому мои мысли сейчас только о предстоящем бою против моей соперницы в эту субботу.
Хорошо, тогда этот вопрос я повторю вам после боя на пресс-конференции. Надеюсь, будет повод. И последний вопрос.
Повод.
Верим в это. И последний вопрос. Манон, это та соперница, которую вы хотели после победы, после возвращения пояса. Ну, по сути, вы были в том статусе, когда вы могли выбирать себе любого соперника. Манон — это та девушка, с которой вы хотели подраться? Или чисто стилистически, или, может, какие-то личные внутренние ощущения у вас были? С кем бы вы хотели подраться?
На самом деле это так не работает. То есть, да, существуют какие-то предубеждения, что чемпионы выбирают себе соперников. Ну, тогда бы, я думаю, чемпионы выбирали себе там и 20-й номер, там еще может быть какой-нибудь. Нет, это так не работает. Существует определенный ранкинг, который составляет UFC, и вдоль этого ранкинга выбирается соответствующими представителями, выбирается следующий оппонент. Поэтому у меня всегда была в моем характере именно такой же, как меня воспитал мой тренер Павел Федотов. Мы никогда не выбирали соперников себе. То есть кто следующий, мы готовы. Где угодно, когда угодно и в любое время. То есть никогда не было такого выбора, что хочу этого, хочу не этого, что-то такое. Нет, для меня всегда было, если драться, то надо драться честно.
Спасибо большое, удачи в субботу.
Спасибо.
What up?
Jasmine, over here. Nice to see you again. We'll talk about fighting this time. You got a big name in Jessica Andrade, former champion. She's fought in future champions, future title contenders. She's second all time and, finishes by a woman, most bouts, most wins. Like, she's in the top 5 for all these records. So when her name came across your desk, I guess what went through your mind and how excited did you get to face someone of her skill set and caliber?
I was super excited. Like you said, she's got crazy accolades, and I want to become the best in the world. I'm like chasing that title, and I understand that I have to beat somebody like her in order to get there. I'm looking forward to testing myself. I believe in my skills and abilities, and can't wait for Saturday night.
Before she got here, she was saying, she didn't know why the UFC booked you and her, not because she overlooked you, but she thought maybe they would want to go a different direction, maybe even strawweight. You've had a lot of success against other Brazilians as of late, and they said, well, maybe that's what they're trying to build. Like, she just keeps knocking off Brazilians. Maybe I can stop that. So I guess, do you like that narrative of like, you're the one that's knocking off all these Brazilian women and she's the one that wants to put an end to it?
I didn't even realize that. I didn't know that. They just send me a name and I said, let's go, let's grab. I don't know. It's funny, I guess, that they're all Brazilians, but I guess.
I know what you're saying. And do you feel the UFC is getting behind you now because, you have this win streak, you're fighting in Montreal, you're getting a former champion. So do you feel the power and the push of the UFC is finally behind you?
Yeah, I do. I actually do feel like the buzz around me. I can see it on my social media, and I do feel that I'm a little bit trying to like stay off a little bit so I'm not like drinking my own Kool-Aid. I want to come into the fight with like the right mind frame and the right mindset, and leave it out there. So it is really cool to have all this hype, and I'm like definitely blessed. I appreciate it, and I want to like show well and try not to swear and things like that. but yeah, I have fun with the media. I actually really enjoy it. So it is challenging, but I do love it.
And I've seen a video or an interview where you said you've seen holes in her game before that you can kind of take advantage of. Is that a matter of like you waiting for her to make a mistake, or is that something you can do to force her to make this mistake?
Could be A, could be B. I don't know. We'll see when we get in there. I'm not gonna try to force anything unless I think I can really force it. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be desperate. I'm gonna wait for the right opportunity to kind of strike.
And obviously, there's the big women's flyweight fight as the co-main event. I guess what are your thoughts on that fight?
That's an exciting fight. I think it's going to be a good fight. I obviously like really looking forward to seeing the results of that. Like we got a bunch of girls on the card. Even in a couple of weeks, there's some more girls from the division fighting, and it's really cool. Like the division's being shaken up. The rankings are all going to change, and like there's girls that are in the rankings that have fought once, twice a year, haven't even fought girls that are in the top 15. Like I'm active, I'm fighting. I like look at the UFC respects it. Look at what they gave Diego Lopez that shot. And I believe like I'm on kind of that same trajectory. I could see a big opportunity coming my way.
So before you weigh in, are you thinking of maybe hitting that 125 mark just in case some weird Arman Sarukian situation happens? They need to have a backup on the spot.
Well, I mean, the other fight, they're both ranked higher than me, so I know that's why I'm not going to cut that extra pound for that. You know what I mean? But I find like I hope that all those fights fall out and then I'm in the title.
Jasmine, right here. There we go. Hey, you talked about activity there, and I saw you kind of fielding that question on Twitter the other day about how active people have been. How much do you credit your activity for where you are right now and just being able to get in there repeatedly and get that cage time in?
That strike while the iron's hot, right? Like I'm in here, I'm active, I'm fighting. That's why I'm clawing my way to the top, tooth and nail.
Do you worry about burnout at all?
Yeah, definitely. I was prior to this camp, I just fought. I was just in Saudi Arabia, my whole camp in Thailand. You know what I mean? There's a lot of sacrifices that come into play. But I said it from the start. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. And I believe that you kind of reap what you sow. And the amount of sacrifice and work that I'm doing now will show well for me.
And the last one for me, we've talked about it before, but this is an opportunity again for you to represent Canada. You're one of the faces of Canadian MMA now, and now at a time where Canada's at this really weird spot with everything going on in the world. So how much does this particular fight and this weekend mean to you?
It means a lot. I feel like Canada is like really looking for someone to kind of, I guess, like inspire them and, give them courage and give what martial arts teaches is like, be strength and courage and facing your fears and like that type of behavior. So I really feel like blessed to kind of be the body doing it. But hopefully everything goes well and I can continue on with like this train and make Canada proud.
Thank you.
Jaws right here. Charles Radtke was in here earlier. He's got a fight with Mike Malott, and he was talking a lot of trash, right? Talking about Canada, saying things about Mike Malott. Is there any part of you, like with you talking about, I'm liking the social media part of things and the cameras being around? I know we don't see it a ton in women's MMA, but is there any part of you like down the line hoping, one of your opponents starts talking trash, and you can let loose a little
Yeah,
bit. I know you
yeah.
said you're trying not to swear, but
Yeah. Oh, I do. I think that would be so much fun. Like, because it's building the fight. It's not, as long as you're not like making it legit, like, bringing family and whatever that type, whatever, whoever's boundaries are. I think it's fun. Like, let's talk some shit a little bit. So maybe sometime in the future, next fight or something like that, there'll be something. But I don't want to start it because, like, I don't want to be a dick or anything like that. But I would love to engage in it.
and then like I know you can't give away too many secrets in the gym and talk about sparring and things like that, but how are the hands feeling going into this one? I'm hearing rumors that you're dropping girls during sparring. The hands are feeling pretty heavy. So how are they going into this one?
They feel good. I really credit a lot of that to when I was in Thailand. I would go to sparring and I'm with these people from all over the world. I have no idea who they are. I don't know their skill set. I don't know their abilities. They could be some person that's, hardly thrown a punch, or it could be some killer in some organization that I don't know about or I don't recognize. You know what I mean? And so I was there and I had to like hone my skills and figure out my game, kind of what works transitionally through all kind of like styles and people, boys, girls. Like, I'm worried about these dudes knocking me out. I don't know how they feel about me. I just partner, oh, you're good, you're free, let's go, kind of thing. And so I feel like a lot of that, like the things you learn in one camp almost don't translate until the next camp. Like, there's a little bit of a lag time in the learning process with them. At least there is for me. And I really feel like I've like honed in on striking and my grappling solid, and I just trying to be the best martial artist that I can possibly be.
So realistically, a girl like Jessica Andrade, who's known as, having pretty heavy hands herself, can we expect you guys to kind of meet in the middle at one point?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right here, Jasmine. Obviously, to piggyback off the last question, I was going to go down the road is saying that, Jessica Andrade, good takedown defense, your style as well. In previous fights has shown you want to take the fight down, you want to be dominating on the mat. The move over to Thailand to spend some time over there, maybe ahead of this fight, was that kind of to complement the fact that, you have to be comfortable with the fact that you're going to be in certain level of exchanges with Jessica on Saturday night?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, she's very talented. She's good striking. She's good grappling. So I got to be ready everywhere. I don't know where she wants to take it. And so, I'm in the camp. I'm working everything. I'm working on my strengths and trying to close the holes of my weaknesses.
I got to ask you this because I'm from Ireland. Seeing that you're over there for St. Patrick's Day and you visited the Guinness storehouse. In the storehouse, it's probably one of the nicest pints of Guinness that you can get in the world. You looked absolutely horrified when you took a sip of the pint of Guinness. So what's up with that?
Well, so I was sponsored by Forge. But I gotta be honest, I'm not really a beer drinker. Like, I'm Lithuanian, and so I like vodka. It's not, Oh yeah. Sorry to all the beer drinkers. Don't listen to me.
They might deny you access now after that reaction. And you're looking to go over to Ireland again. Thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Over. First of all, looking very lovely. I like the jacket quite a bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have to ask, just how's preparation and fight week been for, the biggest opponent you've had to date and such a massive card here in the UFC's return to Montreal?
Como é que foi a preparação? Como é que tá essa semana de luta? O maior adversário que você já enfrentou nesse card gigante aqui em Montreal?
So I am so happy for this moment. I love the fight week. I am enjoying all the moment, and I train a lot. I train with my team Borracha in Contagem. I had a good preparation for this fight.
During the build up to your last fight, it was a lot of it was about your sister. Now it's been over like a year since then. So I guess, have you felt a difference in the preparation for your last fight to now?
Na última luta, muito foi dito sobre a sua irmã, etc. Teve uma diferença agora nesse camp?
A diferença, na verdade, desculpa. Sempre falar da minha irmã é um assunto muito delicado para mim, mas com o passar do tempo, a gente não esquece, a dor fica, e às vezes parece que fica pior. Só que eu sei o que eu preciso fazer, eu preciso treinar, e eu peço muito a Deus para me ajudar. E fez um ano que ela se foi, e sempre é muito difícil lidar com isso, e nesses momentos ainda fica pior, mas a minha força, como eu sempre falo, a minha força vem do Senhor, é Ele que me sustenta, mesmo nos momentos tristes, eu vou fazer o que eu preciso fazer e continuar caminhando, andando para frente, sempre olhando para cima.
Yeah, it's still complicated talking about my sister. It feels like time moves on and then it comes back, and sometimes it feels like it hurts more, but she's been gone for a year now, and I ask God to help me, but I know exactly what I need to do. I know that I need to train, and I know that I need to keep focused on what I'm doing, but it's really hard. It's been hard.
We can move on from that one, but I feel like specifically about Alexa Grasso, your opponent, even after your last win, a lot of people were asking you to fight her. Feels like it's been the two of you they've been asking about. So I guess, how does it feel to finally get the opportunity to get the fight that fans have been asking for?
Os fãs têm pedido essa luta com a Alexa, né, há um tempo e tal. Como é que você acha que é bom poder fazer a luta que os fãs querem ver?
Claro, com certeza. É sempre bom fazer. Na verdade, é sempre incrível fazer o que os fãs querem ver, ainda mais quando isso significa muito para mim. Essa luta significa muito para mim, é uma luta que eu imaginava que poderia acontecer, sim. A Alex é uma lutadora muito boa, ela sempre esteve ali no topo da categoria, então, sim, eu sempre a vi como uma possível adversária, e é muito bom quando os interesses se encontram, quando os fãs querem ver e a gente também quer fazer a luta. Então, eu acho que isso é incrível e eu estou muito feliz com essa luta e empolgada para entregar o meu melhor.
It's always good to deliver what the fans want to see, but in this case, it's something that's really good for me. It's a really good fight for me. Alexa is someone who's always been at the top, and it's a really important fight for me. So it's good when you can join, what the fans want with what I want to do, what's good for me. So this is a great fight for me, and it's a great moment.
After your last win, I saw an interview you did where I think the phrase you used was "just send the belt over." You're fighting on the same card as the champion, and there's a lot of other flyweight fights on. So how important was it to also not just fight a former champion, but to be on the same card as the title fight?
Na última luta você falou alguma coisa tipo, só manda o cinturão para mim, alguma coisa assim. Como é que é não só lutar com uma ex-campeã, mas lutar no mesmo card da campeã lutando, assim, tem várias peso mosca nesse card, né? Como é que é fazer parte disso?
É incrível. Desde minha primeira luta aqui no UFC, eu falei, gente, eu vim para ser campeã. E na primeira luta eu já pedi uma top 15, falei, gente, eu quero uma top 15, porque eu vim para ser campeã. E fui caminhando, caminhando. E na minha última luta, assim, eu falei, eu vim para ser campeã, eu quero cinturão. E estar fazendo essa luta com a Alexa, que é a top 1 da categoria, é muito importante para mim. É um passo em direção ao meu objetivo, que é de me tornar a campeã do UFC. E é incrível ver as mulheres. Vai ter a luta da Jéssica Andrade também, aqui no card. E essa luta também, que é muito importante para a categoria, que é a luta da Valentina contra a Fiorot. É incrível. O meu foco agora está na Alexa, mas depois eu quero assistir, quero ver a luta delas, porque eu acho que é também uma luta muito importante para mim. A minha contra a Alexa é a mais importante, mas essa também é uma luta muito importante para mim.
You know, I've been saying that I'm going to be the champion ever since I joined the UFC. You know, right away I asked for a top 15 opponent because I knew that I was on my way to fighting for the belt one day. So it's amazing to be on this card. It's amazing to fight on the same card as Jessica Andrade, and you know, obviously the co-main event with Valentina and Manon fighting. It's a really important fight, and obviously I'm thinking about my fight, but I want to watch that fight closely too because that's an important fight for me as well.
And just last one for me, you know, we've seen champions have to change their opponent at weigh-ins because, you know, like famously in January, Arman fell out before his fight against Islam, and Moicano had to step up on 24 hours notice because he made weight. When you're cutting weight, will you try to hit that championship weight just in case something strange happens on Friday that you can fill in on last minute?
Já tiveram casos de no dia da luta, no dia anterior, adversário sai da luta. Aconteceu em janeiro que o Arman Sarukiano lutou e o Moicano bateu peso e lutou pelo título, né? No seu corte de peso, vai estar pensando em bater cravado ali na categoria, caso aconteça alguma coisa assim?
Meu peso é sempre tranquilo, meu peso geralmente é o peso, eu bato o peso de título, e se acontecer alguma coisa, eu vou dizer, hey Dana, call me.
My weight cut is not a problem, and if needed, you know, I can make championship weight, which I'll probably make anyway. But you know, if something does come up, I'll be calling Dana.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Benoit, you know, we didn't know if we were going to be able to see you this week after your original opponent, Yoel, fell out. So I guess, how far back did you hear about the opponent change, and was it important for you to stay on this card in Montreal?
Yeah, the most important thing for me was I'm here. I'm ready for a fight, and I really wanted to fight here in Quebec. I love the fact that it's the home soils of so many champions like GSP. There is Manon Fiorot, who can become the first undisputed French champion, and I had to pass away the deception of having this last minute change of opponent, because it was gonna be a very violent fight. The two guys with a 100% finish rate in the division, number 13 against 15. I was really happy about this fight, but the fight game is like this, and it was between my flight between Biarritz and Paris. I learned it, so I had the flight to digest the news, and thanks to God, the UFC is a huge war machine, and they are able to find me an opponent for Saturday night.
Did it matter who you fought? Because I'm sure you've seen Gamrot say you turned down the fight against him on last minute. Did the UFC offer any other opponents besides Kyle?
I think everybody knows me now. I think if he could have done it in Montreal, you all know it was gonna happen. But what I wanted to do is fight in Montreal. So waiting 3 weeks or 1 month to have another opponent is an option we could have had, I think. But I didn't even discuss it with my manager, because I told him I'm ready, I'm fighting. And, if the UFC wants to fight me to fight Gamrot in 2 weeks, I will do my job on Saturday night, and I will be there in 2 weeks. No, don't worry about it. But no, I'm concentrating on my opponent and on fighting this Saturday. I came here for that. I came here in Montreal to have a fight. So if you cannot fight on Saturday night, you are not welcome. But I can come on your card. No, don't worry.
And your current opponent, Kyle, have you had any opportunity to watch any of his previous fights? I know he was in the UFC earlier. He was 0-2, and now he's back. So what do you make of his skill set, or have you not had the time to watch his fights?
Yeah. We have watched his fight because that's something I didn't do before having a new head coach. Now I have a head coach. I'm only concentrate on fighting, and I'm don't do the general work no more. So we watch the fight and we study our opponent. It's a huge lesson we have learned, and he's a tough guy. He hasn't been finished since 2013 against Kevin Lee. So he's a tough opponent because he only loses by decision since this period, and he's a really experienced guy. Yes, he didn't go his way during the fights in the UFC, but it was a good opposition. And I watched the fight. It's close. He has a lot of weapons, and it's a tough opponent. And you know, in this division, there's a lot of well-rounded and experienced fighter. You cannot underestimate anybody. He never made this mistake, and I'm gonna have a war with Kyle on Saturday night, and I'm getting ready for him. I'm only focused on Kyle Prepolec right now. He's my only focus.
Just last one for me, because you brought it up. You have the 100% finish rate. Joel had 100% finish rate. Kyle hasn't been finished in a long time. I feel like fans have this high expectation of your fights to always be violent. Like they just want blood and war when you fight. How do you find the balance in, giving these fans these exciting fights, but also making sure that you can come out on top and, not overly damaged?
Tough question. If you like tough fights and you like violence, it's what's gonna happen, and you don't get any scrambled eggs without doing your homework. So it's part of the job and the journey as my type of fighter, and as what I want to produce inside the cage.
Hey Benoit, I have two questions for you. First one in French for the French audience. Ton adversaire est dans une position que tu connais, c'est la position à laquelle tu étais quand tu es rentré à l'UFC. Tu es ultra favori sur le papier, mais est-ce que le fait que tu t'es retrouvé dans sa situation, ça te donne entre guillemets un avantage pour ne pas le sous-estimer et prendre ce genre de combattant très très au sérieux malgré ce que peut indiquer les odds et les analystes?
Non, je le prends très au sérieux. C'est un combattant qui est en France, qui ferait partie des mieux classés chez les lightweight mondialement. c'est quelqu'un qui est solide, qui a une vraie expérience. Nicolas le compare un peu au Michael Lebou canadien. C'est un peu le cas. C'est un mec qui tape tous les prospects canadiens qui sont aux portes de l'UFC et qui se positionne toujours comme potentiel revenant pour cette organisation. Là, il a cette opportunité. On est tous arrivés à l'UFC comme ça, quasiment, avec une opportunité qui nous a été donnée, en étant prêts et préparés. Il devait faire le main event de l'orga, une grosse orga locale. Ça rappelle des choses qui sont déjà arrivées en France, donc à ne pas sous-estimer.
I switch in English. There is a lot of noise around you the last years. Simple question: how do you feel technically and personally today with all the changement you've done?
I feel a lot better because after the Dustin Poirier fight, it was hard for me to take lessons because it was in special conditions. But with the Moicano fight, I had no excuse, and I had to made a lot of changes, and I recognized a lot of weakness and a lot of stuff I can work on, and I'm happy. I'm working on that direction, and I'm really happy to be back to my soldier job and to only concentrate on training and getting better, and having a general having my back on doing the questioning and mental part for me.
And last one for me. Do you have something special in mind, or with the changement of opponents, it's a question of imposing your style in the cage, or with your new coach Nicolas Hoch, you plan something without saying it? Do you plan something special, or do you just want to go there and impose the BSD style?
That's a hard question, but I think every fighter wants always to use his style to get the win. So it's I would say it's a mix of all of that, and the most important is to be proud of what you produce inside the cage and to get your hand raised.
Thank you very much and good luck.
Benoit, right here. Right here. Benoit, obviously, your last two fights haven't gone your way. A difficult loss against Dustin Poirier first, the fight that you were doing very well in the early stages, and it didn't go your way. And then again, last time out against Renato Moicano, a doctor stoppage, a disappointing way for that fight to end in France, in your home country. Fights like this, wanting to be on this Montreal card, was this part of the reason why you wanted to pick yourself up, get on this card, and kind of get back into the win column again?
Yeah, I wanted. I had a lot of change to make after the Moicano fight. I made them. I have a head coach in for the MMA part, stuff I didn't had for a long time, and it make a lot of good to me because I concentrate on the training part and getting a better fighter. And yes, Joel Alvarez fight was a huge fight to make a statement and to come back. And we trained hard for this. We came here in Montreal for a fight.
Obviously, the Joel Alvarez fight was a fight that a lot of fans were excited about. I'm sure you were excited about that fight as well. Is that something that you would like to revisit now, or you believe with a win you're going to push on up into the top 10 and challenge an opponent up there?
I don't like to make plans before anything is done, and you have to respect this game. And I have a tough opponent ahead of me on Saturday night, and I expect to do my job on Saturday night. And if it's the case, don't worry, I will let the news.
Thank you.
Benoit, right here. How did you wind up being your own coach for so long, and what made Nicholas the right choice to be the general for you?
I have seen the job he has been doing from the outside. I have seen the job he has been doing with Nassourdine for since his Strickland fight. He's his head coach, and the way he trains him, the way he is able to get the best out of him, and to get him the best way of getting his job done inside the cage. And I had also the the privilege to see him work with Nassourdine during the Paris card all week long, and I felt like okay, there is really something there, and yeah, it was then a fast decision to take after this loss. A lot of questions for me, and yeah, after the deception was gone, I went this way because it was important for me, and yeah, because I felt like in the Moicano fight, it was the first time in my life where in the first round I didn't know. It's not I was prepared, but I didn't know which direction to take to win the fight. But in the second round, I knew. But the problem is with somebody this experience, this level, you cannot come into a fight and have one round of discovery. You have to know him from the first seconds of the fight to the last. And this is a mistake I will never do again.
Was there ever a point before that where you thought, hey, maybe I should get a head coach, or were things just going so well that you decided to keep going with just doing it yourself?
Yeah, the problematic is if you look at my career, even on the Paris card, I'm from all the male fighter, I'm the one starting my MMA career in the latest time. I started MMA late in 2018, and I started my pro career in 2019. If you look on Tapology, nobody in the top 15 is unknown on Tapology before. Even Tsarukian, who is a lot younger than me, started in 2015 or 16. They are all doing this sport since a long time. I discovered a pair of mitts in 2018, so everything went very fast for me. But I'm blessed for this, and I think it's been the discipline and the will to get a better fighter, skill set base that has been bringing me here, on the intensity that the fire that I bring into my fights. But the hardest part is not the first 1,000 steps. It's the 10 last steps in the UFC. The 10 last steps, it's all guys that I have long life experience. All the last guys I have been fighting were already in the MMA professional world when I was still in high school. So it's experience has also a value. I do believe it, and I feel like it's hard for me to learn those lessons this way because it's on your own soul, in front of a lot of people that are counting on you. You feel the weight, you discover the weight of the media, of a lot of stuff, but it's something you have to learn if you want to compete at this level, and it's something you have to deal with.
Thank you.
Bonjour Benoît, pouvez-vous me dire quel impact ça a sur votre préparation là, de vous battre ici en territoire ami au Québec?
Comme je dis, en fait, c'est vraiment une carte qui est particulière pour moi. J'ai en plus de Rafael Dos Anjos, qui est un combattant que j'admire, il y a GSP, il en fait partie. J'aime beaucoup ce qu'a apporté le Québec à la francophonie française d'un point de vue du MMA. C'est vous qui avez performé au plus haut niveau bien avant les Français. Et aujourd'hui, on a aussi des athlètes qui sont très hauts. Et on pourrait avoir d'ailleurs notre première championne. Et voilà, historiquement, ça pèse lourd dans la balance. Parce que moi, je me suis mis très tard au MMA, mais je m'y suis intéressé beaucoup, très vite. Et voilà, ça fait partie de l'histoire. C'est comme combattre Madison Square Garden pour moi. Le Center Bell, c'est là où il y a GSP qui a défendu sa ceinture un paquet de fois. Donc, c'est un honneur. Et pour moi, c'était hors de question de venir ici, d'avoir fait une préparation complète. Et parce que mon adversaire se blesse, de ne pas combattre.
Est-ce que c'est le meilleur des deux mondes pour vous, à savoir que vous allez être en territoire ami, vous allez être probablement accueilli en triomphe, mais d'un autre côté, vous n'êtes pas la pression d'évoluer à la maison en France?
J'affronte un Canadien, donc je sais que le public canadien va être pour lui, mais bien évidemment, je sais que on est un peu cousins avec le Canada, hein, donc je pense que ça va être assez sport. Et Et je pense que c'est un adversaire qui est très expérimenté, qui est dans cet état d'esprit-là aussi. Je m'attends à un combat dur, peu importe ce qu'en disent les gens. Je m'attends à un mec préparé. Comme je dis, c'est pas un hasard que le mec se fasse pas finir par des mecs comme Nordin Taleb ou Austin Hubbard. C'est que c'est un mec qui est solide. Et j'ai vu les combats. Il a même gagné des rounds contre des mecs très solides. Donc, je m'attends à un combat dur et je suis prêt pour ça. Et ça va être le spectacle à Montréal.
Merci beaucoup.
Benoît, là, quand tu dis que tu es revenu en mode mentalité de chasseur, prédateur, etc., est-ce que ça passe par genre de la visualisation où tu imagines ce que tu vas faire à l'adversaire ou comment le combat va se passer et que comment est-ce que tu fais pour te mettre dans ce mode-là et qu'est-ce que ça veut dire du coup?
Alors ça en fait partie, mais après, c'est surtout le rôle de ton coach de te pousser à sortir cette version-là à l'entraînement régulièrement. Tu as pu un peu y assister. Donc, et ça, c'est la force d'avoir voilà, un général, c'est que il va même si c'est mon naturel, il va aider à sortir le naturel le plus tôt possible, tout de suite, à être dedans, concentré, focus et à aller chercher les solutions les plus simples et les plus fracassantes rapidement.
Et là, si tu pouvais choisir la manière dont tu finis ton gars samedi, ce serait comment?
Comme je dis, j'aime pas donner des prédictions parce que je respecte trop ce sport qui est un sport qui déchaîne toutes les passions justement parce qu'il y a toujours une incertitude.
Merci.
Merci à tous. Thank you all.
Ok, ouais, c'est pas nécessaire. Ok, cool, elle est en train de faire.
Man, I don't know if you've seen the clip going around already, but Charles was in here earlier, and a lot of what he's building this in his mind is Canada versus the US type thing. He's using hashtags like 51st state, free speech, all this stuff on Instagram. He said that he respects that he's in the position he's in because you're the big name in Canada, and that's why you guys are the featured prelims. But he didn't appreciate Canadians booing the national anthem. So someone has to pay. So that is how he is building this fight to himself. So I'm curious to have a response to that.
Yeah, man, if he wants to build that extra pressure for himself, or, if that's what he needs to do to motivate himself, go for it. For me, I'm focused on the task at hand, which is a fight in the octagon. I'm not focused on all the outside things that you could possibly, focus on as far as all the other stuff that can come into your mind when it comes to fighting, but really doesn't actually affect what happens in the octagon.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like fans don't realize how long you've been in this sport, like not even just fighting, but like with the alpha male boys and everything, like you've been around, like Uriah is when he had to do this, and the Dillashaws and everything. So do you think like Charles is like, you guys are approaching this two completely different ways? Like to you, this is like an athletic competition. This is what we're going to go out to. And he's building this like he has to defend America against Canada. It's just, I guess, how do you it's like I said, two different ways to approach this. I don't really know how to phrase this, but like, when you see someone doing that, is like, all right, that's just noise that you're bringing in. Like, you don't need that. This is just an athletic competition.
Well, that's how I feel about it. Yeah, he's just creating more unnecessary noise. Again, if that's where you want to put your energy, go for it. That's not where I'm putting my energy. I'm putting my energy into the octagon.
And what do you make of his, in terms of just skill set, athletic? What do you make of his skill set in there? Because I guess we asked him about you, and he goes, very similar styles. He feels he has more firepower and more durability than you. So I guess what do you make of just his skill set in there?
Yeah, he's a solid fighter, but I've been fighting solid fighters my entire career. You look at everyone I fought at welterweight, it's all been killers, nothing short of elite level fighters. So I'm focused again on what I bring to the table. If anything, you know, I know he's a kind of a bit of a bull in there, and I have no problem playing the matador if that's how it comes down to it. And I've done a really good job of doing that throughout my career. So I don't see Saturday night being any different.
Will it, I know you said you're just kind of focusing on this, but like with what he's selling the fight, I'm sure it will, like the Full Send boys approached him and he was like, 20,000 people are going to be booing you. You're going to be the most booed person in the arena. And he kind of smiled and laughed at that. Win or lose, like it will be the biggest fight probably in terms of like Canadian pride. So does that make a win over him bigger in your mind? Because it could propel you into like superstar, or maybe even in America.
I mean, it's definitely a cherry on top, right? For sure. That's an awesome addition to getting the win. But I mean, let's look at it realistically. It's not like I didn't care about winning without this factor, right? I've cared so much about my career and winning all these fights, even without this type stuff. So again, you know, it's how much do you want to focus on it? And that's cool. If somebody else wants to focus on it a lot, I'd rather stay dialed into what I need to do on Saturday night rather than build up outside factors.
And then just last one for me. What do you make of the welterweight title fight at the top of the card between Belal and Jack?
I think that's an incredible matchup. It's cool. They've got such a stacked pay-per-view card for Canada. As far as like who I think is going to win it, again, man, I haven't put any thought into that matchup at all. Still just dialed in on my performance on Saturday night, focused on having the best performance in my career to date.
Mike, right here to your, there we go. How different is the feel going into this one compared to the Trevin Giles fight where you were maybe coming off a loss and maybe had a little more you wanted to prove or wanted to show, or is there any difference?
I mean, man, you want to prove every time. You know, it's like every fight you have to win. Every fight's the most important fight of your career, right? So, you know, there's always, you know, there's always a lot on the line. Like I said, every fight's the most important fight of your career. So to me right now, this is the most important fight of my career to date. And yeah, every fight feels unique in its own way, but there's a lot of similarities, and yeah, just focus on the process, man, and then happy with how the preparation went for this one. So feeling very, very confident going into this fight.
And then growing up an Ontario kid right down the road, you have the ACC, and for hockey, and for a Toronto fan, that's the venue. But, you know, when we talk about MMA with the GSP era, it might actually be Montreal that really is the kind of venue and the building for MMA in Canada. So is it nice to get a chance to finally fight here?
Yeah, this will be a cool like check off the bucket list, you know, as far as big arenas and big cities to fight. Competed or coached in Montreal before, which is actually, that's not true. I competed in jiu-jitsu one time, like, you know, 12, 14 years ago, something like that, a long time ago. But yeah, this is an iconic stadium. This is an iconic fight city. I think if there's any city in Canada that is like the fight city, probably is Montreal. Like, you know, it was illegal in Ontario for the longest time while I was growing up. So pretty much everybody who fought regionally fought out of Montreal primarily. So yeah, again, a really cool little cherry on top and a nice little notch on the bucket list.
Very cool. And last one, completely unrelated to fighting, but I got to get your thoughts on that hit in the Leafs game by Bennett. And do you think he should have been suspended for that?
Are you talking about the guy hitting the goalie?
Yeah.
Yeah. It looked, I don't know. It didn't look that bad until he went down. Like, you know, it was, it's hard to say. The guy's digging in front of the net, right? Like, obviously, as a lifelong Leafs fan, other than when my brother's playing for the Kings, you know, I'm rooting for the Leafs, so I want to like side with the Leafs on that one and be like, yeah, there definitely should have been a penalty. But you know, it's hard to say. It didn't look malicious. It just looked, you know, unfortunate.
What's your prediction for the series?
Leafs, baby. Let's go.
Mike, right here, brother. Let's kind of go back to that. We'll start off with that. Who has the better hands right now? Your brother in the NHL or you?
Talking about dangles with the puck, or are you talking about throwing hands?
We're talking
about the silky mitts on the fucking ice there, bud, or are we talking about fighting?
There's a Canadian coming on. I appreciate that. No, we're talking, throwing hands.
My brother's a beast, man. He's a unit, but come on, man. There's a reason I'm in the UFC.
So Charles said some things. He said some things when he was in here, right? But he did acknowledge you, and he said, Mike's put me in a position to have a lot of eyes on me this weekend because the fight's in Canada. He said, I don't know if a lot of people are going to be buying the pay-per-view, but I appreciate the fact that we're on the early prelims. So what do you think the reception's going to be when you walk out there? Like, is he going to get booed out of the arena? What are we going to expect?
I mean, if what you guys have been saying is true and the fans are aware of that, I'd imagine, yeah, he'll probably get booed quite a bit. And I'm a lot more focused on the warm reception that I assume I'll be getting, man. Every time I walk out there, it's like, it feels like I'm the main event every time I'm there. Just every time I walk out, I get warmly received by the fans, and there's nothing but love. And I look out in the audience, and there's tons of Canadian flags, and see people wearing like my t-shirts and stuff. And that puts me in a good place heading into the octagon.
And obviously, like you said, the Canadian side of you is here, the polite guy, the respectful guy. But when he comes in here and he drops a couple F-bombs and he makes some comments about full send, he makes some comments about Canada, does that come out in the octagon, or is there going to be, something said to him before the fight, or is that going to be after the fight? Like, when does that side come out of you?
Look, man, he's a grown man. I'm a grown man. I'm not going to try and control what another adult man is saying. That's not my style. I'm going to go out there and put on the performance of a lifetime. And if my track record is any indication of what I'm capable of on Saturday night, which I think it is a very good indication of what I'm capable of, I've finished almost everybody I've fought. So I'm one of the most dangerous guys in the division. I'm one of the most dangerous guys in the UFC. I can finish fights with punches, kicks, knees, elbows. I can finish fights with strangles. And I showed in my last fight, I can pick somebody apart for 15 minutes. So I've just added a new arsenal to my game and a new level of confidence going into this fight.
And then when he questions your character, he says things like, he can never forget that feeling of when he was laying there staring up at the ceiling, in his home country and things like that. What's your comment on that?
Man, it seems like we're both really focused on me. You know what I mean? Like that's what I think about that. Like, I don't care what this guy's doing. It's cool, man. You're a solid fighter, dude. Everybody in the UFC is a solid fighter. Like, every fight moving forward should be the toughest guy I've ever fought. And, this guy might be one of the best guys I've ever fought. But, I'm focused on myself. I'm focused on my process. I'm with my team. I've had the best camp of my life. I'm the most prepared I've ever been. I'm the best I've ever been. I'm the most dangerous I've ever been. I feel pretty calm right now, dude. You got a mic, you got bright lights on me. My pulse is, sitting at, 50 beats per minute. Dude, I feel calm. I feel ready to go. I feel ready to pick this guy apart, and I feel ready to do my thing in there.
Final message for the Canadian fans showing up, coming to cheer you on this weekend, and maybe a final message for Charles Radtke.
Yeah, I'll stick to the Canadian fans, man. I love you guys. Appreciate the support. I always come to put a show on, and I come to represent you guys best I can. Let's go.
Just one last, one last quick one. Is it a bit of a missed opportunity? He was asked this as well. Is it a bit of a missed opportunity to not have you guys on the press conference tomorrow?
I mean, they're probably, from what I'm hearing, there probably would have been some words exchanged. So maybe a little bit, but I think being the featured prelim is a pretty cool opportunity too, where we're going to be on Sportsnet and we're going to be, potentially more accessible to fans rather than having to pay for the pay-per-view. So might get some more eyes on us. So it's just, yeah. At the end of the day, like I said, I feel like the show's about me each time I get in there. It's about my performance, and I'm focused on myself. So whether we're the first early prelim on Fight Pass or we're the main event, it doesn't really.
Mike right here. Speaking with you before and after your last fight, obviously coming off that Neil Magny loss, it seemed like there was a lot of tension there. There was a lot of pressure on yourself to go back out and get that win, get back into the win column. if you were to compare the preparation for that fight in Edmonton to the preparation for this fight here in Montreal, do you see similarities? Are you putting equal pressure on yourself to kind of continue on and put a run together now?
Well, like I said, man, every fight's the most important fight of your career. It's not like, oh, I'm coming off a win, so it's not as important to get another win. Like, you have to win every fight, man. Every fight is the most important fight of your career. So preparation for this one, there's a lot of similarities as far as preparation, but yeah, all I can say is feeling good, feeling dialed.
Thank you.
Hola,
All good? Hola. ¿Cómo está?
muy bien, ¿y tú?
That's all I got right now. Alex, obviously this is the first time we've seen you prepare for an opponent not named Valentina in quite some time. And, we asked the same thing to Valentina, like, has it been different or anything? And she said, no, not really. It's just another opponent. Actually wasn't that much time. So I guess how much different has it been, if at all, has it been not preparing for Valentina?
Well, it's different. Of course, every fighter represents a different challenge, and every fight I take this as a new one. So this is obviously a new one, and it's good. I mean, it's good to have a new opponent.
Were you happy that they put you on the same card as her? Because I think a lot of flyweights kind of want to compete around the same time as her, so the timelines can be the same.
I mean, any card the UFC wants me to fight, I'll do it.
And then when your opponent Natalia, when her last win, a lot of people asked her about you specifically, like a future fight against her. And we asked her this question too, and she says she likes the fight, but she likes that the fans are more excited about the fight even more. So I guess, what do you make of Natalia as an opponent, and have you felt the excitement surrounding your fight with her?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great challenge. She's background with Taekwondo. She kicks a lot and she moves a lot. So I think it's going to be a super exciting fight. She shines with her legs, I shine with my hands. So it's going to be a beautiful war.
Did you know much about her before her name came across your desk? Because you were the champion for a while and she was in your division rising up. So did you know much about her? Had you watched her before you signed the contract?
Yeah, of course. I like to watch all the flyweights. I mean, I watch all women's fights, but especially the ones that are my weight class. I like to watch each one of them. Just, you never know who you're gonna face next. So yeah, I've been watching all the girls.
And she made a joke after her last fight to just send her the belt now, because she thought she could have been champion even like a year ago. So do you like that, confidence in your opponent, or do you think like it's hold on, like you have to get through me first?
Well, I'm not in her shoes. I mean, anyone can say whatever they want.
Then just last one for me. Obviously, like in January, when Aiemann and Islam were supposed to fight, Aiemann fell out at weigh-ins and Moicano stepped in last minute. So when you're cutting weight, will you try to make the 125 just in case they call you to fill in for that title, that main event?
I mean, I don't think they're going to need me. They're both super professional. Manon has been waiting this opportunity for so long. And Valentina is super professional. I'm pretty sure they're going to make weight.
How do you see that fight playing out, by the way?
It's an important fight, an interesting fight. Both of them are southpaw, and Manon is natural southpaw. She's big, she's super strong, but Valentina has a lot of experience. So I'll be watching pretty close that fight.
Alexa, right here. What's the better outcome for you in terms of your career in that fight? Is it, if Valentina wins, you think the UFC would be willing to book the fourth fight because you are 1-1-1, or is it better if Manon wins and that's a fresh challenge for you?
Oh my God, I can't answer that right now, because we have to win first, and then we're gonna see whatever the UFC chooses. I'm happy with that.
And then going back to a 3-round fight for the first time in a couple of years, I think since maybe 2022, has there been any difference at all in terms of preparing for that? And do you have to put more of an emphasis on getting a fast start?
Well, it's different, of course. 3 rounds compared to 5 rounds. It's different kind of speed of fights. and requirement from your energy. But we're ready 3 or 5, no matter what. Our training is always hard.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Alexa right here. Alexa obviously fought last time in the Sphere in Las Vegas. Quite the experience, I would imagine. Not what you would have been used to in comparison to other fights. Did the whole experience kind of maybe take away from your performance, in your opinion, or like, you know, the distraction of the graphics and the big screen and kind of a different look overall?
No. It wasn't my night. It was a bad night for Mexico. And I mean, I just came back to the gym as soon as possible and trained hard again.
Thank you.
Alexa, Omar Guardado, Dimensión Latina. Antes que nada, un placer. Bienvenido aquí a Montreal. Espero que vayas a aprovechar de tu estadía. La pregunta es, ¿cuál ha sido tu preparación los últimos meses y cómo has sabido canalizar la concentración cuando sabemos que las últimas 3 peleas han sido contra Valentina y que tal vez la mayoría de personas le hubiera gustado ver una 4ª temporada este sábado?
En español, sí. Bien, pues me siento muy contenta, gracias. Es la primera vez en Canadá, un nuevo oponente y pues estoy muy, muy contenta. Entrenamos súper fuerte. Cada peleadora representa un reto distinto, entonces estamos listos para todo.
Alexa, this is your, you had that legendary trilogy with Valentina there. You made the rise to the top, accomplished things that every fighter gets in the sport to do, right? So now that you're on the back end of that and trying to be one of those people that becomes a 2-time champion, how has that changed your mindset? And I guess, what have you learned through the first experience rising to the top that you're taking into this one?
Oh my God, it's always like climbing a new mountain. No, you get to the top and you realize that there's another one, and another one. And I'm just, it's good to be like contender again, to try to fight for that place. And yeah, I mean, just training super hard. Thank you.